months, but I've lived there for a year.
That's true.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
it's not like I'm going to be picking up the tab for whoever the tenants were, right? So it's now just a question of how much is this going to cost? And it's one of those things like, wow,
Well,
I
it's
wish
like
I
one
wish I'd have
guy-
paid better attention, right?
one
'cause
guy
when
and
you
a
get
little
these
girl
people,
once in a
they
while.
call up the radio station. It's like, well, it's for like $400 now or
You
something
couldn't
like that.
possibly use a whole bunch of water. It's not like my house where I'm packed with girls who wash their hair every day. Right? So
There's
we use a lot of water.
There's that. Well, it's I spent a lot of time in the men's room in the comfort room over at the house. It's the only place where I can get any reading done. At any rate, so that's the thing. That's the big concern that I got, and it actually caused me a second of pause yesterday as I'm opening the mail, going, okay, what's it? Because it didn't look like a bill. It looked like one of those GWA. Here's something that you need to know things, which I also almost.
We should wager how much we think it's going to be. I bet.
Okay, so
I bet a lunch.
My regular water bill,
Mezcla.
it's about $60.
You're going to end up having to pay. This is my wager: a lunch of mezcla.
I like
It's
that.
gonna be,
like we were talking about a client here. That's good.
$400.
What?
That's my guess. That's how much.
Is $400? No, it can't be.
Oh no, that
number is way too high.
Because I can't see you using $100
What's your wager
of
there,
water
Mike?
every year, every month. So that
Well,
would,
like I said, it's about 60. But what I'm currently being billed is
Right.
about $60 a month.
so even if you normally use 100, that's
Did you
only going to
water
be
blast at any
$160
point?
that they'll charge you back.
Did you water blast?
There was water blasting. There has been water blasting at this point. 6:25 in the morning, and we are late getting to the game, but there is Facebook Live on right now. And as usual, we can play the cheer. We can play the Cheers theme now because I got the crew is up. That's nice.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name.
Yep. Don't thank me, everybody. Thank a guy named Alex out in Florida. He's the guy that configures all of the systems that we got here that use Facebook Live and YouTube Live and the Point.gu, and he was able to reach in, figure out what I couldn't figure out. And we're on Ismael Velez, #1 on the list today, and he's got the praying or thankful hands emoji going on. James Howard, and he's got the eggplant emoji happening. I'm not exactly sure why, but I appreciate it. Pam Duvall's online, and John Ray Titano is there. John Rages, good morning to Nate Horn, and Heather Paris is online. Josh Allen saying, it's on. Yes, it's on like Donkey Kong. And Antitong. Nita Muffness has got the Valentine's eyes. Al Bautista saying, half a day. Good to have you there. Good to have everybody in place. Ed Massey. Bennett Lujan Dueña saying, good morning from Family Finance. Bennett, you guys are absolutely terrific over at Family Finance. Every time we want you to participate in one of our schemes and promotions, you guys always say yes, and we're going to come to you for some more cash here before too much longer. Promise. Cousin Teddy's over at the ranch. Cousin Ted, very interested in a piece of legislation that is making the rounds over at the legislature that would ban spearfishing on scuba. I haven't read the entire legislation, but it's interesting. And one of the reasons why is because it's one of the things that it's one of the things that Teddy sees up there at the ranch on that side of the island, and I've seen up at Aruna. In the past, where you got it's like a train, a caravan of boats that go out there, find a spot on the reef, 4 or 5 guys with tanks go over the side and come up and basically catch all of the fish in the reef. Mm-hmm. And worried that because they can go down, stay down as long as they want to because they've got tanks, that they're able to absolutely just decimate the reef life. And he's concerned about that. As he wanted me to get some support behind it, and like I said, I'll talk about it, but I haven't read the entire piece of legislation, so I'm going to not share it just yet until after I've had the chance to do that. Mary Lou Bersimmon saying, finally, it's the share gag, yay! Mary Lou Bersimmons online there right now, and since we played the share song, I might as well remind you, there's a little share button on whatever gizmo it is that you're watching, on whether it's on YouTube or Facebook or whatever. There is a share link, and we'd like you to... I'd like you to establish a connection with that button so that other people can tell that that this is the place, even through a little bit of early morning anxiety, that you are going for your news and entertainment and just kind of Ray Gibson fun and frivolity. Simon Sanchez says, we can talk about all this at our morning call. Ray, happy to explain. Thanks, I do appreciate it. Because, like I said, I seen it before. I heard other people complain, but since it ain't my money, I wasn't really paying attention. Now there's a potential here for me to get back billed by GWA, and I just want to I want to know which of our bank sponsors I need to go see. Do I go see Phil over at Bank Pacific, maybe the guys over at First Hawaiian, take out a loan so I can pay my back billing in GWA?
In a totally unrelated subject, you realize that there are people sitting there watching their Facebook feed in their underwear right now.
It's spooky, isn't it? Friend Pam's on, and Ismael Rico Blanca Floor, and Pat and Norma Jean Floors. I see Karen Otiwi is online. Rico saying, what's Rico saying? Good morning, Ray, Mana, Michael, and everybody on Guam. Ismael, with a point here, was trying to convince people that Gibson was trying to claw himself out of a sinkhole in which he fell in on his way to work. Can I riff on that real quick? Can I just... So there's more frowny faces going on and more of these stories about DPW, and this will come up in the morning call with Simon as well. GPA KEPCO signed power plant agreements on page 5 of today's Guam Daily Post, and I like the picture. It's kind of an interesting picture. It doesn't look like they're signing an agreement as much as it looks like they're signing a treaty, doesn't it? You got the flag of Korea, and you got the flag of Guam and the United States, and JB, and as close as we're going to get to seeing JB in a suit, but he's there. He's flanked by a couple of KEPCO guys, and they're signing all of the paperwork on the agreement or / treaty. Now, good to know we've ended the war, haven't we? But it's interesting because there's still more of the conversation here about about what they need to do and the frowny faces over at DPW. JB says, I will be responding to DPW Director Vince Areola because I'm not sure where these numbers are coming from. All I can say is we have an excellent engineering firm working with KEPCO, Hyundai Engineering, one of the largest in the world, and they know how to get things done. So if we're talking about such a size that couldn't be transported, then they can break it down into smaller sizes. It is not, Brother Vince, as though they're going to build the power plant over at Cabras and then haul the whole thing over at once to the landing station over by GRMC. Right? That's
I don't know what vehicles they're using or equipment. Maybe the equipment's larger than life.
Well,
I don't know.
they move heavy equipment on the roads all the time. And you listen to, Eddie Cruz was chiming in yesterday. Says, yeah, this really isn't a big deal. There's all kinds of stuff that gets moved in the middle of the night. Most people don't know about it.
Well, I think they had a problem, too, over in Ipan or in Inarahan when they built the new dump. And they had this beautiful newly paved road, and all of the heavy equipment was moving in there, and then it caused damage to the newly paved, beautiful road.
But okay, so here's my point is though, if you take any given stretch of roadway in between the port and where they're putting this, we're not talking about Guam's most pristine pieces of blacktop here. It's not like there is this shiny ribbon of blacktop going from all the way in PD all the way up to Guam Regional Medical City on Route 3. Vince is worried about us damaging the roadways even more than they already are with the zaff that we've got on bits and pieces of the roadway. We've got all these spots here. We got potholes. We've got uneven pavement. We've got these metal plates that are on Guam's roadways all over the place. It's not like it's pristine to begin with there, Vince. So you're worried about you're worried about saving the ugliest house in the ghetto, I think, at this point.
The rumor I've heard is that they're consulting with James Howard on advanced alien anti-gravity technology. So, I can't confirm or deny
it's a
it.
Marty McFly thing. We're going to levitate it over Guam's roadways.
Hovercraft.
Vivian Cunningham's online. So is Randy Kruger. Dennis Ben-Sur is there. Dee Dee Chrysostomo's online. Nice to see that pretty face. Debbie Picklesheimer, Adonis Mendiola, Melissa Salas Akimoto, Sam Beanie, who I probably still traveling out there in the mainland. Eunice Mendiola's hanging out, and got Chris Watson saying good morning. Jasper Sill, good morning to you, buddy. Ken Leon Guerrero, the other Governor Leon Guerrero, is online. Her Honor there. Kat Phillips-Uggan, she just got her JD, so she's not teaching anymore, but she is now in the lawyer business. So I'm going to say just a matter of time before Kat Phillips-Uggan becomes the next Chief Justice over at the judiciary. Because they just keep recycling the same old guys. We need to get some new blood in there, and I think, James, that Kat could do an outstanding job. I said James because James Vega is online from California. I see Mingo Reed, Jules Elmer, Xavier Atalik, or Aptalig, depending on which island you're on. Dave Torrey's already there. Jess Mendiola, Sherry Uriarte. Good morning, Wen. Nice to see you, and nice to share a beer with you last night. Joey Franquez, Adonis Quito Mendiola saying, Rayman. And there's a variety of icons. What do they call them? Emojis on the other side of that. On the other side, so go ahead and use the emojis as much as you want to. Although I will tell you, I'm getting word that there might be a change in certain emojis that they don't want you to use anymore. James Vega saying, "Is it dangerous to watch and drive at 70 miles an hour?" Absolutely not. To. In fact, we encourage that kind of behavior. See how fast you can go. See how fast you can take the car in reverse. Jennifer Louise Dula is there.
It's against the law.
Oh, there's that pesky laws. Nobody follows the law. Nobody. There's a magistrate report here. I got to tell you about it. A guy got picked up on drunk driving and basically lectured the police officers about how they're just going to let him go anyway. So you might as well not arrest me. Nick Perlowski is doing the Hoik, Juanita Machi, and Joey and Pinko. Vicky Ganashis Borja, Rose Greeno. Have I mentioned your name yet? Vicky Schragi's there, Charlene Marchessault, Anne-Marie Sablon Trousseau, Gwen Tai Minglu, Karina Gutierrez Ludwig. Karina, we need to find an excuse to get us all together. Maybe I've been talking about the Ray Gibson, Tony Babout beer and barbecue summit.
Yes.
You know where would be a great place to do it? At Karina's place up in Arunau.
Okay.
Have you ever been?
No.
Oh, it's nice. They had this little amusement park thing going up around the top, and then you go down this steep trail, and then you get to the beach, and it is easily one of my favorite beaches in the whole wide world.
Sounds like a plan.
It's nice there, Karina.
Will be there.
Do you like Tony Babauta? Can we bring Tony down there? Is it okay, or is it going to make the Tautamonas invade? Let me see here. Nate's on. Richard Leone is hanging out with the program this morning. Cheryl Ochai, Jeff Pleadwell, Keith Parsky in Washington, D.C., and one of our favorite baseball guys, Mark Colby, is on the line. What were you saying about somebody else joining the Guam Major League the other day? Is it University of Guam?
It's going to be University of Guam. They're reinstating their baseball program, which hasn't been around since the 90s, and it was around for quite some time, so it's actually a very cool thing. They will be playing in the Guam Major League. Nice.
But Beneventi is there, and James Howard with some more emojis. There it is again, and he's got the what do you call it, eggplant and the peach emojis here. Now, I got in a WhatsApp this morning. What time is it? Is it 6:35 already? I'll tell you what I got in the WhatsApp deal about emojis here on the other side of headlines. We do have to break into that real quick. Monta Silva with news now from the Guam Daily Post.
It's 6:36. Police are on the hunt for a man wanted in connection with a robbery of the Lucky Land game room in Dededo. K-Jack Steve, believed to be armed and dangerous and shouldn't be approached. He stands 5'5", weighing 180 pounds, and has black hair and brown eyes. He has 2 star tattoos on his neck, one under each cheek. Anyone with information should call GPD or Crime Stoppers. The hospital's emergency rooms are just about bursting at the seams. And GMH and RMC aren't sure if there will be any relief soon, since the problems stem from a shortage of nurses. GMH has asked the legislature to give them some flexibility to easily attract stateside nurses. The hospitals continue to take on a number of patients, and through the night and evening, even had to divert some of those patients to Naval Hospital. The Department of Corrections will be up for an oversight hearing this evening with Vice Speaker Talena Nelson and her Committee on Judiciary and Public Safety. They're delving into the many problems at the prison. Tonight's hearing will hone in on the shortage of manpower and other issues that affect DOC. That hearing will be at 5 o'clock in the public hearing room. And those are some of your headlines from the Daily Post. I'm Monta Silva Tyrant.
All right, here's the big story here from Cosmopolitan Magazine, which is where I go for all of my cultural news. Say goodbye to eggplants, peaches, and water droplets. Social media giant Facebook, which also owns Instagram, has banned the use of the 3 emojis, citing its crackdown on online sexual solicitation. Facebook has released a revamped set of guidelines in the Section 16 of their community standards, which states that users may no longer use emojis or emoji strings in a way that expresses suggestive elements.
So pretty soon they're going to ban the pointer finger and the peace and the OK sign.
No, I'm sure they've already done something like that. You want to talk about just a world filled with hangups here. Users may also no longer post nudes with emojis covering their private parts, sexualized slang, mentioning or depicting sexual activity, i.e. sex positions, acts, states of arousal, etc., and sexually explicit language are also banned. What can you do? Photos of mothers breastfeeding is still allowed. Post-mastectomy photos are allowed as well. But that's the big deal. Yeah, that's it. Dave Torrey's going, what? I just picked up on this. What's the movie?
And Kim Kardashian with a glass of champagne.
So where's the I'm trying to remember the name of the movie. Adam Sandler's in it with the pretty girl from Friends, and they were talking about how women try to get their husband's attention when they're feeling frisky. And the lady says, I sent him a note with the what is it? It's a donut. I think it's the eggplant in the donut, eggplant in the donut, eggplant in the donut. And the guys are supposed to get the message. Now this is a recent revelation in pop culture, and already Facebook is going to be taking steps to ban it on their website. So the next time you're trying to get somebody's attention and let them know that you're feeling frisky, you're going to have to find other emojis with which to do it.
Yes, and I think they've underestimated just how creative people can be.
Yeah, because in the beginning, the eggplant emoji was exactly what that was. It's an eggplant, and a donut emoji was exactly what that was. That was an invitation to enjoy donuts. But people, we're creative. We'll get that sorted out. 6:39 in the morning. So while you still can, let's just fly in the face of Zuckerberg. I would recommend that you find the absolute naughtiest emojis that you can think of, the naughtiest combination of emojis, and go ahead and type them into me this morning. You go right ahead on the Facebook Live. 20 away from the top of the hour. We'll call that iConnect time. Run to the iConnect and ask them about a job. What emojis will you use on the job to be able close that sale on the emoji? That's what they're looking for over at the place. They're looking for intelligent, self-motivated, energetic, and outgoing. And you don't have to be that intelligent. We're talking sales here. If you've got sales experience, excellent communication skills, and you can work as part of a team, then apply. Send your resume to hr@iconnectguam.com or visit iconnectguam.com for more information. iConnect is an equal opportunity employer. Konnichiwa! We'll be celebrating the 40th Japan Autumn Festival on Saturday, November 16th from 2 until 9 at the Governor Joseph Flores Beach Park. That's Ipao Beach Park. Parking will be available across Oka Payless with free shuttle service every 15 minutes starting at 1:30. Advance tickets available now at the Japan Club of Guam office located on the first floor of Pia Marine during business hours. The Japan Autumn Festival at Ipao Beach Park, November 16th from 2 to 9. Come join us. For information, call 646-8066. This message made possible by Choice Broadcasting. Traffic gizmo time. What do we got here on the roadways? It's still fairly early in the day, Wednesday, so I think that you might be stuck behind a couple of trash trucks in my neighborhood because today is Trash Day, which is the title was supposed to be the title of today's program. Was supposed to be Trash Day, but I was in such a hurry to get us back on. Once I saw the gizmo working again, all I was able to get out was trash. Sorry about that. But looking at the traffic gizmo right now, don't see a whole lot that's going to slow you down. Maybe a little bit way up north on Route 3, right up around Starts. A little bit of back and forth up there. A little bit of traffic over at the intersection of 1 and 3. Busier intersections right now are the ones that face Route 10. Alpha and 16 over by the Ocean Vista 76. Might see a little bit of traffic as you get close to the Department of Revenue and Taxation today. But 8, 10, 16 running clear. 10 and 15 clear. 4 and 10 looking good. You'll also see just a tiny bit of traffic up on Route 4 just before you get to Sinahanya over by the Ordot area. And looking at traffic over getting into Sumai, traffic in both directions at the main base gate is slowing down already. 641. That's right now traffic here on the point.
Lights, camera, fajita! Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors, featuring the new all-star cast, the grilled stuffed avocado with southwestern shrimp topped with Santa Fe sauce, cilantro, limes, and queso fresco. Or the Monterey chicken, juicy chicken breast topped with barbecue sauce, mixed cheese, bacon, diced tomatoes, and chopped green onion. All served on a sizzling skillet with warm flour tortillas. Experience bold, sizzling fajita limited-time flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here. Located at the Tumon Sands Plaza, 2nd floor.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show.
6:42 in the morning. You got. I'm so glad to say that your favorite radio station, your favorite online programming here, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, thepoint.gu, everything seems to be cranking here this morning, and it's nice. Everybody's hanging out too. Everybody has made it into the program. Scott Nelson's there, as I said. I see Gary Shonalls is online, and so is Nate. And the question Mark Colby's asking: what about? There's an emoji that looks like a poop. It looks like a pile of turd, and he's asking about that.
It's a happy turd.
It is it's a happy kind of turd. Because you can tell that it's smiling. So what about that one? You know what the thing is? I guess they're okay with turds. They're just not okay with people being able to use emojis to be able to, I don't know, get somebody's attention one way or the other, get somebody all hot and bothered. As I said, it's hard for me to mention them. It's hard for me to describe them on the radio. But there's the pointing finger and the OK sign. I've got a couple of those that are floating up, and those are going to be probably embargoed later on as soon as Facebook realizes, I guess there's a whole bunch of other emojis that people can use in order to express a form of, I don't know, sexual tension or frustration. Maybe it's the water droplets. Maybe it's the water droplets at the end. It's just, you know what, that's too much already. It's too descriptive here of all kinds of things that need to go on. Who else is playing around? Norm Analista's there. Levon Guerrero Meno is hanging out. Mark Cruz is waving at everybody this morning. There is a petition online, I want to say, that somebody is floating around. They're trying to, what is it? They're trying to get rid of the wave on Facebook. I don't know if you've seen. There's a wave thing. So if you get a new friend or something, they say wave at your friend.
Oh, yeah.
And they say it's maybe one of the more useless things on social media.
Do they still have that thing, the poke?
I think yes. I believe that they still have some kind of a poking gizmo that I don't know that I've ever used. You want to talk about sexual innuendo? I mean, it's like poke your friend. Like, whoa, yeah. Maybe we'll delve into some other things. 888-825-5888 TALK in the studio. Jerry Roberts is in early this morning because maybe spent a little bit of time and. Yeah, well, so Mana, I didn't show this on the Facebook Live yet, but Mana has brought in, and it's got to be rough being a kid growing up at Mana's house. This is the loot from Halloween. Show it to everybody.
We're trying to.
It is a huge bag of Halloween loot.
And why do you have it and the kids don't?
Temptation.
Yeah.
Is
we're hiding it.
Anyway, so
if
you're gonna talk, get mosey up close to the microphone there, so everybody can hear what you've got to say. Otherwise, we take a look at the table of contents here this morning. Don't get sick today. Top of the fold of the Guam Daily Post today. Guam Memorial Hospital GRMC ERs are in overflow mode. We just don't have enough nurses between the two facilities, and if you get sick today, there's no doubt going to be a wait at one or both of the locations. There's a shortage of beds, shortage of nurses, but the important thing is I think they've got everything settled now with FESPAC. I think they've spent a lot of time talking about how we're going to spend $400,000 to get 100 people over to FESPAC. Never mind any of the problems that we've got anywhere else.
The questions that were raised yesterday by Senator Tello Taitagui was, why do you need $4,000 per participant? Because airfare. Yeah, airfare. In the past, we housed the folks here in our schools. It didn't cost them $4,000 to be part of the delegation, at least as far as I'm aware. Mm-hmm. Food was covered. We gave them coupons for food.
Gifts to bring back to
where does the $4,000 go?
And depending on who it was that you were taking pictures of, some of those people charged for pictures. Do you remember that?
Yes.
You wanted to take a selfie with the hotties from, where was it? What island?
I caught them when they weren't charging yet.
Right? So the
Rapa Nui guys.
The Rapa Nui. That's those are the guys I'm thinking about. So we've got all kinds of problems over here. We got leaking roofs. We got elevators that don't work. They need a new hospital record system over at Guam Memorial Hospital, and they are still talking over at the legislature like we've got all the money in the world to spend. And trying to figure out how they can make it so that in the future we don't have to have this conversation
some at the legislature
anymore.
Because Senator Therese Terlahi, whose daughter wants to be part of this delegation, also raised the point, I want to support this for my kid, but we've got priorities here, such as the leaky
Such as the
roof.
hospital. She says
She said that?
She did.
Yeah, Therese Terlai, you may have earned a re-election vote from me
so,
on
yeah.
for this sentence. We're here as senators having to face a roof at Guam Memorial Hospital that is leaking, and we just got word yesterday this roof can't be funded with insurance monies, so we have to fund that, Terlahi said. We as a people need to support art, and it's a critical time. We just need to really focus and prioritize as we do that and make sure we do it when necessary and when not necessary. We've got a lot of necessities we have to take care of. So I appreciate it may be one of a couple of voices over at the legislature that understand what the reality of the situation is around here. And we're running around like we've got all just buckets of money to spend on something like FestPac. And I'm not saying that we should not go to FestPac. We should send as many people as possible, whatever great artists, cultural people, whatever your cultural repertoire is, go and show it off over at in Honolulu, but pay your own way. If you want to go, let's do some fundraisers. Let's have some car washes. Let's do some bake sales. Let's go hang out over at Franny's out in, which is one of my favorite places.
I love Franny's.
Don't you love Franny's?
I do.
That's one of my favorite places to go and do fundraising.
And Franny's such a sweetheart.
Senator Tello Taitagui also asking an important question. In the past, appropriations amounted to $150,000. Participating artists were told to raise at least $500 to assure attendance. And now, knowing only 100 is allowed to go, each participant is going to be given $4,000 each. Now, I know the flight to Guam from Guam to Hawaii is not $4,000. What exactly is that $400,000 going to pay for? And why have you gone from $150,000 to $400,000?
Because they're going to be there a month? No?
Go stay at somebody's house, Airbnb.
How long will they be there?
Sleep on the beach.
How long will they be
I don't know
there?
what's FestPac, a couple of weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
I mean,
2 weeks.
We're not.
I think it was 3 weeks here.
3 weeks.
2 or 3, yeah.
3,000? Come on.
Where are the other
Why
delegates going to
Why
say?
are you a killjoy?
I'm not a killjoy. You know me better because I'm not going. They haven't asked me to go.
And maybe the accommodations are going to be different when they're in Hawaii because they don't have the schools like they did here. It was summertime. We could go and stay in the schools.
I agree with that, but they could have saved themselves a lot of grief by having Ray be the chaperone.
Yeah. Now, if I was the MC, I would be all over this.
You got to be thinking about these.
I'd be
things for
moving in the
future.
other direction. What's up with you, Therese? What's up with you, Terlai? What you know? What don't you love the arts? Don't you love people going out and celebrating Chamorro culture and history?
This all could have gone down differently and so much easier if you just put Gibson in on the deal as the official media person to report back on this.
All right,
come
now-
on, you got to think about things like this.
The show is always about me, and today, even more about me. I got a letter from GWA that says your recently replaced GWA water meter failed American Waterworks Association meter testing standards for accuracy, which means
The recently replaced one failed?
the recently replaced one, as in the one that they
the
took
one that,
out.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, the one that they put in there.
I didn't graduate, so I'm sorry.
I'm assuming the one that they stuck in the ground is working.
really working.
Had been tested
Can I see the number?
to the water meter testing standards for accuracy.
Are you building up to the number? The actual
No,
number?
I don't have the number yet.
Oh, you don't?
No, this is the warning that they I've got Simon Sanchez on the line, and this is the warning salvo from GWA that
They
says.
called me the other day and threatened me with the same thing.
Really?
Yeah,
They
said
called you?
No, we're replacing your meter.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, so I got Sanchez on the line.
My meter works. I'm sorry. I know it works. Leave my meter alone.
As I said,
see.
yeah, we'll see.
Is that what he said?
We'll see.
Simon's out there with a calculator. How much can we soak this guy for? Okay.
Not away from the
Charge
top.
him double just for saying that.
Si, what? Good morning, buddy. Thanks for taking the time for the call. What's up?
Well, first off, when Michael contacted me yesterday, and I think you were trying to get hold of me yesterday, but all this concern about transporting the generator to Ukudu. Eddie Cruz has posted he and his dad have been moving stuff forever, and he understands it. And Hyundai is one of the largest engineering companies in the world. You can engineer this, and the movers know they'll get longer trailers. They'll spread out the load. They break it up in pieces. It's like you said, they're not building the generator at the port and shipping it over. This is all can be engineered. We're not the first place to move heavy equipment.
So what's Vince's deal then?
No, Vince is doing his job too, because now that the contract is awarded, right? Hyundai is the contractor for KEPCO, right? And they're reaching out. They said, hey, I got to move a generator. Who on Guam can move a generator? They're talking to providers like an Eddie Cruz, who could have and would have done this kind of stuff before. And they're talking to the folks that move stuff, and they say, can you help me move this? And those folks are running to DPW and say, hey, what are the rules? I got to make sure this. Where are we going? How's this going to go? They're doing their due diligence. The potential providers of this service are doing their due diligence so they can bid to Hyundai and say, I can move that generator for $10. I can do it for $12. I can do it for $15. And Hyundai picks that person. So Vince is being approached now by people that are going to provide that service on Guam. They're asking the right questions of DPW. DPW is asking the right questions back. And I don't blame my classmate for sending us a letter. I think that's exactly what he should be doing. But it's not like GPA.
Well, maybe it's the rest of the media that is making it a little bit more hysterical than it sounds.
Well, and some citizens. But you got to remember, I mean, we had 18 bidders, and none of them ever said, I can't bid on this because I'm afraid I can't move.
We'll break your road.
Right. So, well, I mean, if they break the road, they have to fix it. That's why you have people studying it, right? But in order for them to bid on the moving of generators from port to Ukadu, they have to talk to DPW. They may have to bring in a contractor to be their partner that says, hey, if I break the road, you got to fix it. If I knock down Ray's favorite fence by JFK, we got to put it back up.
No. Knock it down. Pull the thing down. Let's use that as an excuse to pull the thing down. Josh Tenorio told me they were going to do it like 5 months ago, and it's still up there. So I've got limited trust for everybody.
Governor Felix. And Governor Eddie and Felix made you the same promise. And the reason they tell you that what you want to hear is because they're actually never going to take that fence down because it's a good idea. Yeah. But anyway, so that's why it's reached the DPW level. It was premature to talk to DPW till you really had a approved generator. But now that it's approved, wheels are in motion, no pun intended, or pun intended, and those folks providing that service are figuring out how to win the bid to move it, and someone will do it. And Hyundai and GPA and DPW will figure it out, and DPW is just doing its job reminding GPA, the customer of this contractor, that, hey, you have to make sure you take care of the road and fix what you break and manage it wisely because here are the limitations on the bridges. But you read from JB's comments on the Sorensen TV7 interview, and he's exactly right. This is doable. This is not, so I appreciate the concern from folks that may not have the experience or knowledge, but I also appreciate that there's people that do have experience and knowledge, and they will get this generator moved in pieces properly. And when Eddie Cruz says it can be done,
it can get done. Okay, so let's talk about me, because it's a Ray Gibson show. Never mind the road. Let's talk about me. So they took out the meter, tested it, and it failed. As a result, your account will be reviewed to determine if it was underbilled. And if it's underbilled, I got to get right with GWA and Jesus at some point. So my average water bill these days is about $60 a month. What kind of back billing do you suppose I might be able to anticipate?
Well, again, it depends. It depends on a few things. First off, we are replacing many of the old new meters, right? We are now in the 13th year of our 5-year meter replacement program. We're on our second vendor, and we're on our third batch of meters from the second vendor. But we think we finally got the right batch of meters. And back billing has become an issue. Senator Rogel has been involved in some healthy discourse with me and others about, there's been a surge in it because we are replacing some 20,000 meters over the last couple of years to the meter that we now know will work better. The supplier's paying the warranty, that's on our side. We're dealing with that. But on your side, we have a meter that has now proven itself to withstand Guam's weather and handle it. And so we're systematically going through the island. And when we come up to your meter, if your meter looks like it's reading right, and we've got $1 million test bench, we test the meter, and if it doesn't look like it's reading right, we put in the newer meter that we want to move you to anyway, because we know that older meter was going to fail sooner rather than later. We move you to the new meter. We test your old meter. If it looks fine, then your back billing could be small. Maybe we may find a $5 difference. Then your old meter was okay, but because we want to get you to the one meter we know works better, we're going to do that. We're going to be proactive. But in many cases, we find out that meters do fail. I mean, over a 10 to 20 year period, every meter is going to have to be replaced. That's one of the myths that you think you can put in a meter that's going to last 20 years. No, they all fail.
Well, man, the pipes, anything underground is going to eventually fail. And we get to see the same thing with the pipes. Jerry wanted to make a point there, Si.
I've been in the same house 5 years, same bill, 5 years straight. around $60, $63 straight, the same kind of usage all the way through.
Good.
So how far are they going to go back and try to figure this out? They put a new meter in and it says something different. They're going to go back 5 years and say, well, you owe us this much money? What?
We're going to go back to the first time you came to Guam. Dear.
Thank you very much. Let me tell you what, that lunch we're having next week just got very expensive because you're buying.
Yeah. No, so what happens is, and Mana alluded to it, right? Senator Mana knows the history of law. So under Guam law, but it was passed before you were born, Mana, in the 90s, and we passed a back billing law, just like in California. You know, we got into this with Senator Joe. 99% of every water utility we found in the United States has back billing. Why? Because they recognize mechanical meters can fail. And while they fail, you still get service. And the idea is that Ray should pay for his service, Jerry should pay for his service, Simon should pay for his service. But when the meter that is measuring your service fails to monitor it correctly, you need a process to estimate your usage and so that I don't pay for your water, Ray, that you were using even though your meter failed, and you don't pay for my water.
I want Brenda to pay for my water.
Well, but then everyone's going to want you to pay for their water, right? And that ain't going to work. So that's why you have back billing at all, right? Because they recognize their
Okay, but as long as you're only going to go back 4 months, and there will be a determination based on the current usage on the new meter on what I was possibly underbilled.
Right. The new meter now, which is tested, we know works, right? We put it in the ground. We measure your consumption, and we compare that to the last 4 months from before the meter was busted, right? And now we give you a notice. Before we didn't give notices. We're kind of trying to improve the process. So when we do that, we look at, let's say the new meter comes in and says, hey, it's really $80 a month instead of $60 a month. All right, then we'll back bill you for the $20 because you've been paying the $60, right, Jerry? And Ray, you've been paying your water bill, right?
Consistently.
But you go back for 4 months, or how far do you go back?
4 months. That's
Just 4.
That's it.
That's all that's all they can do by law.
That's it. 4
All right, so I wish we could go on all morning, but I can't. I got the news is coming up. But I want to say thank you very much.
You only pay the difference, and you can do an 8-month payment plan.
Gotcha. An 8-month payment plan for that, the warrant $20. Gotcha. Simon Sanchez from the Consolidated Commission on Utilities got the music playing in the background. That means that we've got to launch into Fox News Live here in just a moment, but I got to do some shouts while I can. Bob Lazam is online, so is James Martinez. Nice to see you there, cuz. John Torres, Carlos Barreto, Renee Logie is online with us this morning as well. That's how I know it's going to be a terrific day. Jody Duenas is online and hanging out with us on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and thepoint.gu. We are KUSG, Hagana headquarters for Fox News Live on Guam. Mana Silvatarum with news from the Guam Daily Post and Jerry Roberts, The Extra Point. That's all ahead right here. This is The Point.
Surprise on Lisa Brady, Fox News. As 3 House committees release more transcripts of impeachment testimony, one witness, ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland, is revising his testimony to say he recalls telling 2 other administration officials there appeared to be a quid pro quo between aid to Ukraine and the Ukrainian president making a statement about anti-corruption investigations.
Here's part of the transcript from Gordon Sondland with House investigators when he testified a couple of weeks ago. I presume the aid suspension had become linked to the proposed anti-corruption statement. In other words, what Gordon Sondland is saying here is that he presumed it was suspended because of corruption.
Fox's Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill, the White House drilling down on that.
Saying Ambassador Sondland squarely states that he did not know and still does not know when, why, or by whom the aid was suspended. He also said he presumed there was a link to the aid, but cannot identify any solid source for that assumption.
Fox's John Roberts at the White House. The statement from Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham also says today's transcript release shows even less evidence for what she calls an impeachment sham than previously thought. Those same House committees are still calling more witnesses. Fox's Jared Halpern is live on the Hill.
Well, a pair of White House officials declined to show up for scheduled depositions today, though House committees leading the impeachment inquiry are still issuing invitations. Acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney has been requested to testify behind closed doors Friday morning. He is unlikely to cooperate. The White House has instructed officials not to comply with congressional investigators. Public hearings are still expected to begin later this month, though House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff has not detailed a timeline or a potential witness list. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. Back-to-back record highs for the Dow at the closing bell. The Dow up 31 points. America's listening to Fox News.
Half a day. Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. I'm Jade Uggan of Umatic, and this is where I start my day. Listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Protehi itanonmo. Protect your land. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
GRMC's cardiology department treats most complex heart problems. In our catheterization lab, cardiologists use imaging equipment to treat clogged arteries that can cause heart attacks or heart failure. We perform balloon angioplasty, stenting, and other life-saving cardiac procedures. If you suffer from a heart condition, have your provider refer you to GRMC's cardiology clinic at 645-5500. GRMC, where patients are partners.
Voters are at the polls for local elections around the country, and one state is testing new voting machines.
Georgia spent $106 million on new voting machines, and now it's time to see if they work. They combine touch screens with a printed ballot and are being used in 6 mostly rural counties for local races. But Georgia's Secretary of State plans to use them in all 159 counties for the presidential primaries in March. The 2018 midterm elections saw problems in Georgia that included 2-hour waits at some polling sites, security breaches that left voter registration information exposed, and accusations of voter suppression. In August, a federal judge put pressure on the state for a new election system, setting a deadline of January 1st to retire the one that had been used since 2002, calling it seriously flawed. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
President Trump, meantime, has been focusing on the 2 governors' races on ballots today in Kentucky and Mississippi. The president urging voters to send a message. AT&T will spend millions to settle government claims that the company misled customers.
The telecom giant agreeing to pay $60 million as a result of the Federal Trade Commission's accusations that the wireless provider reduced millions of customers' data speeds while charging them for unlimited wireless plans. The commission filing a complaint in 2014 saying that AT&T did not adequately disclose to customers that it would reduce data speeds after reaching a certain amount of use during a billing cycle. More than 3.5 million customers were affected, and AT&T will automatically provide partial refunds to those who signed up for unlimited wireless plans before 2011. Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
So it was almost a sweep again for Wall Street. The Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ after record highs yesterday. The Dow and the NASDAQ extending their records. The Dow up 31 points to 27,492, but the S&P down 4 points.
Lights, camera, fajita! Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors, featuring the new all-star cast, the grilled stuffed avocado with southwestern shrimp topped with Santa Fe sauce, cilantro, limes, and queso fresco. Or the Monterey chicken, juicy chicken breast topped with barbecue sauce, mixed cheese, bacon, diced tomatoes, and chopped green onion. All served on a sizzling skillet with warm flour tortillas. Experience bold, sizzling fajita limited-time flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here. Located at the Tumon Sands Plaza, 2nd floor.
Konnichiwa! We'll be celebrating the 40th Japan Autumn Festival on Saturday, November 16th from 2 until 9 at the Governor Joseph Flores Beach Park. That's Ipao Beach Park. Parking will be available across Oka Payless with free shuttle service every 15 minutes starting at 1:30. Advance tickets available now at the Japan Club of Guam office located on the 1st floor of Pia Marine during business hours. The Japan Autumn Festival at Ipao Beach Park, November 16th from 2 to 9. Come join us. For information, call 646-8066. This message made possible by Choice Broadcasting.
Did you know that home loan rates have plunged again? Would you like to take advantage of these lower rates to help lower your monthly payments? Refinancing doesn't have to be for another 30 years. It can be for 10, 15, or 20 years. It's up to you. Reduce your monthly payments. Pay off your loan earlier. At Bank Pacific, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender. Credit conditions apply.
7 o'clock news from the Guam Daily Post is being brought to you by Proline Automotive, customizing Guam's finest rides, located in the Harmon Industrial Park.
Half a day and good morning. It's 7:06. Here are some of your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Police are looking for a man who they say is wanted in connection with the robbery of the Lucky Land game room in Dededo. K-Jack Steve is believed to be armed and dangerous and shouldn't be approached. He stands 5'5", weighs 180 pounds, and has black hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing black short-sleeved hoodie and a pair of black jeans and white shoes and carrying a black sling bag. He has 2 star tattoos on his neck, one under each cheek. Anyone with information should call GPD or Crime Stoppers. The hospital's emergency rooms are just about bursting at the seams, and GMH and GRMC not sure if there will be any relief soon since the problems stem from a shortage of nurses. GMH has asked the legislature to give them flexibility to easily attract stateside nurses. Hospital Administrator GMH, Lillian Posada, says she's asked senators to introduce a bill that would allow for participation in such programs as the Nurse Licensure Compact, which would allow nurses from other NLC states, such as Colorado, to be brought on board without having to obtain additional licenses. So far, none of the lawmakers have jumped on that idea as of yet. The Department of Corrections will be up for an oversight hearing this evening at the legislature as the Committee on Judiciary and Public Safety delve into the problems at the prison. The committee, in an earlier oversight, focused on erroneous release of prisoners. Tonight's hearing will hone in on the shortage of manpower and other issues at DOC. That hearing set to begin at 5 o'clock in the public hearing room. Well, the Committee on Environment, Revenue and Taxation and Procurement will conduct a public hearing at 9 this morning on nominations to various boards. They include Earl Garrido to the Guam Board of Equalization, Doris Brooks to the Public Utilities Commission, Rick Pinko also to the Public Utilities Commission, and Lisa Fisher to the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board. Then at 2 this afternoon, the committee will hold public hearings on a couple of bills. One of those bills mandates regular testing and mitigation of radon in schools and childcare facilities. Bill 168 calls also for an assessment of all GovGuam buildings. Also up for hearing is Bill 204, which would authorize the issuance of tax credits for contributors to the renovation, improvement, and participation of the Guam Basketball Federation or Confederation to the FIBA Asia Cup. More news after this.
Proline Automotive has everything to customize your whip. From custom wheels to Nankang tires or just hubcaps, they have it. Feel better that it's protected with a dash cover, car cover, seat covers, or floor mats. Visit Proline Automotive, located in Harmon Industrial Park.
Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro brings you island hospitality with a true taste of modern Chamorro cuisine. A bistro look that feels like home. Their menu features local and traditional flavors with a twist. From their famous Calaguan Hapa to fresh ahi poke salad and their award-winning barbecue ribs. Mezcla takes your favorite local dishes and serves them with extra flair that you'll only find at Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Stop by their newest location in the Grand Plaza Hotel in Tumon. For reservations, call 969-2652. Mezcla, a true taste of Guam.
The Guam Council on the Arts and Humanities Agency is sitting on $400,000 in mandated contributions to the arts from the Guam Regional Medical City that it cannot spend on the 13th annual FESPAC. In July, the Office of Lieutenant Governor said that the money was being set aside to help pay the cost of sending Guam's delegation to the event in Honolulu. But on Tuesday, Jacqueline Balbus, the acting director of CAHA, said that the funds couldn't be used because mandates of the current percentage of the arts law. Balbus says the money is to go toward local artists or to CAHA for grants for the arts on Guam. But CAHA is working with Senator Kelly Marsh on amendments to the law that would change how the money can be spent. Meanwhile, the FESPAC Planning Committee has about 6 months to select delegates for the event and find funding for travel, accommodations, and other expenses. Bill 158 by Senator Marsh reserves $400,000 from the unappropriated allocated balance of the fiscal year 2019 Tourist Attraction Fund. That money will be transferred into FESPAC's trust account. The bill also seeks to mandate an annual transfer of $100,000 for future FESPAC events. Senators in a meeting yesterday weighed the importance, though, of Guam's participation in FESPAC and other priorities. Senator Therese Terlahi says they face a roof at GMH that is leaking and needs to be fixed. Senator Jim Moylan and Telo Taitagui also urged organizers to seek donations as other areas of the government of Guam also need funding. Balbus said that the committee would make every effort to also use other funding sources such as solicitations and fundraising. Tonya Mayor Jesse Mendiola Blas may try to make a case for entrapment when he goes to trial next month, but the U.S. Attorney's Office says the defense won't fly as there isn't any evidence to show that he was induced by the government to commit criminal acts. A motion was filed in the district court yesterday as the federal government prepares for the case. The jailed mayor was arrested and charged with extortion and bribery for his alleged part in drug activity in his village. Mayor Blas accused of accepting and extorting money in exchange for the use of cluster mailboxes at the mayor's office in a drug operation. The confidential source, Brenda Kinnian, was named in the documents that were made public on Monday. Kinnian agreed to cooperate with authorities after she pleaded guilty to extortion in another case. She also agreed to assist in other investigations into corruption. Federal authorities recorded the phone conversations and took video recordings of Blas's interactions with Kinnian. In the alleged interactions, Blas agreed to help the woman obtain cluster boxes on the condition that she paid him and shared the proceeds. Prosecutors also referred to the video recording where Blas allegedly readily accepted money and requested additional money in exchange for access to another cluster box unit. Blas is also allegedly shown on video discussing ways to avoid detection by law enforcement. While the government acknowledges it used a cooperating defendant to propose criminal activity to Blas, it says the behavior did not rise to the level required for a viable entrapment defense. The federal government was tipped off about Blas's alleged criminal activity by two of his former girlfriends who were charged in federal court in separate and unrelated criminal cases. Both told authorities that Blas allowed drug traffickers to use cluster boxes intended for use by residents of the village to mail illegal drugs. Meanwhile, Mayor Jesse Blas remains behind bars. His trial is set for December 2nd. And those are some of your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Here now is your weather with Ray.
I wonder how many other villages have cluster boxes that have drugs in them right now.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say.
No, what do you got in yours?
I don't know. I haven't checked it in a while.
Yeah.
But I have cluster boxes in our village.
Oh, sure. I mean, they're all over the place, and the idea is that, you don't have a post office there, so we'll put cluster boxes out. All of those things controlled by the mayor, so I wonder at which point the guys over at the lady over at the post office says, give me back the keys. I want all of the keys from all of the mayors right now. And we'll administer it here. It'll be a pain in the butt for everybody, but it removes the mayors.
Yeah, and then he also allegedly, according to the story in the Post, he was able when he felt there was some detection going on, he would switch the boxes.
Right? Well, according to the allegations,
Yeah.
it gets stickier and stickier every time I think about this story. Partly sunny skies, isolated showers today, north winds up to about 15 miles an hour, decreasing after sunset with highs near 88 degrees. Overnight lows should be about 78 degrees. Sunset tonight, 5:52. Sunset hunters, you know where you need to be, and now what time you need to be there. Sunrise tomorrow morning should be about 6:16. Michael Knight is throbbing here, waiting to leap in with something. What's that, Mike?
Oh, I was going to respond with what you guys are talking about, but
Well, you
we're
still
in weather
can.
now. No, it's cool.
Is that right?
I was just going to say.
Was it just going to be stale?
Now I know.
No,
I
actually,
want
it
to
was
know
gonna
what
be-
you're going to say.
Yeah, well, I was going to say I suspect that every village has a cluster of some type or another.
We don't try not to use that kind of language on the radio here. 7:15 in the morning, and we'll take a look at the weather radar now. That we've got the Facebook Live feedback. If you couldn't get in last hour, there was a glitch in the system, but we've since got it repaired, obviously, because I'm talking to you on Facebook. And here is the image of the radar of Guam, and Michael Knight's going to tell you all about how this is going to say we got great weather ahead, at least in the next hour or so.
Yeah, we really do, and probably for most of the day today. We do see some showers on the radar here, but they're very far to the south, and they continue to go south because of these north winds that we have now. They won't be coming this way today, but over the next couple of days, there may be some movement this way. We'll show you what that's all about on satellite, as we've got the typhoon, Super Typhoon Halong. It's off the screen now.
What?
But it's way up there, and it became a super typhoon, a Category 5. It got annular appearance overnight, which again is a Latin word that means disc. When they get perfectly round, that's when you know they are really, really pumping. But it's already starting to move to the northeast now, and it will exit the area very quickly over the next day or so.
Yeah, I'll take it for those of you that are watching on Facebook Live. You can't see it because we've got the Weather Ready Nation logo up on the top, and it's the first time it's ever actually covered anything up. But now that I've removed it, you can see, the incredible size and shape of Super Typhoon Halong, huh?
Yeah, Super Typhoon, and this is actually after it had become an annular storm. So it's already starting to get a little ragged because it's getting into cooler waters, starting to encounter some wind shear and some other things. But for a short time there, it peaked, and it may be. We got to go through the records now because our guys are talking about it in our group. But it may have been the strongest storm of the year so far.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's saying something considering what we've already seen through here.
Yeah, the reason it didn't get a lot of headlines is because number one, it wasn't threatening anybody, and it didn't go through the this explosive intensification like the last storm did, Huggy. So
sometimes you just need a press guy. You know, if there was a press guy, if there was somebody in charge of publicity for this storm, maybe it could have made the weather websites. And,
it would have been an all-star
or something like that.
Absolutely, an all-star. So what we're looking right now at is as the storm pulls to the north, you can see a little bit of moisture tracking off below it and down to the south and east, and then way down south, there's a big bunch of blobbage down there. That is the monsoon trough that exists semi-permanently here, the ITCZ, if you will. Thinking that might be creeping over us in the next few days as the MJO kicks up a bit. But we got a whole lot going on. If you look up to the upper left of the screen, you can see a cold front. A literal cold front. It's that time of year, and it's already starting to push down. And so a lot of mixed bags of weather going on here. Philippines going to be getting a lot of rain as well, but we don't live there, so that's
It's
okay.
all right. Yeah. 7:17 in the morning. That's news and plenty of weather together. Brought to you by us over here on The Point.
Live the balanced lifestyle. Take Care Insurance offers proven wellness and fitness programs to encourage individuals and families to live a healthy, balanced lifestyle through preventative care, being active, eating right, relaxing and unwinding, and being socially connected. They have the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs for all ages. Join the movement. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram or visit takecareasia.com to learn more.
The portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by American Water Tech, a passion for improving lives through better water. Also, American President Line's global presence with a local home. The team over at Guam Regional Medical City, your first stop in all your specialty care needs. Don't get sick, though. Don't use the emergency room. See if you can sort it all out yourself. You know, you can stitch yourself up if you need to. But if you're needing, like, brain surgery, heart work, speech therapy, that kind of thing, they can definitely hook you up. Portions of the program also brought to you by the best breakfast value on Guam at Wendy's. Try any of their 5 local breakfast platters, eggs and rice and a breakfast meat, only $4. Favorites like applewood, smoked bacon, Portuguese sausage, and country fried chicken with gravy and scrambled eggs. Wendy's breakfast platter, $4. The real deal at breakfast is Wendy's. Now that's better.
Morning talk that matters. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Annette Ada Vasquez watching the program from the western part of the United Snakes of America there. We got Brad Hokinson. And last time we talked to Brad, where's out in Maine or someplace like that? And he says, aha, there it is. I asked him where he's at. He says, home on Guam.
Welcome home.
He's having breakfast over at Pika's.
Aww.
Have you eaten at the Pika's
I haven't
in
had
Tumon?
breakfast.
It's awesome. Let me just say, it's a great place to go. 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. Absolutely perfect. Kenny Williams we had an impromptu meeting of the Ray Gibson Show yesterday over at Payless. Kenny Williams and his wife were there picking up something. I don't know. It's one of those rare times that they actually had together to be able to go and hang out at lunchtime. So they found their way over to Payless. Second in the line was Jerry Roberts, who was buying paper bags. Is that for tomorrow?
That's for tomorrow.
Okay, doing something for tomorrow. I was third in the line, and then right behind me was former Senator Mike Limtiaco. And so it was a nice little get together, little parochial meeting that we had there at the Payless, where the decision was made, and I think it's final that Mike Limtiaco wants me to run for senator.
That was it.
That was the nature of the conversation.
Yeah, lots of people do.
Now, when you left, we worked the plan out for it.
Did you come up with any money to come? Because it costs money to buy radio advertising.
I can
You
imagine.
own the radio station.
I have
Even
a
more
feeling
so.
that you could actually run and not spend $1.
Really?
Yeah. Just put your name on the ballot.
It's not time to pick up packets yet. I think January is when we're allowed to go pick up.
I think you can pick up packets.
Find Maria if you can. At some time in the morning, we'll find out. Just asking for a friend. We'll do one of those. Just you ask her.
No.
You ask her because she likes you better than me. She's
Well, I
okay,
believe
Ray
that.
Gibson.
Okay. So what Mike said was this.
Okay, go ahead.
If you run, you're going to win. That goes to 10-5 to 9-6. Okay. He said that if you run, that he's gonna knock off this PUC business or whatever consolidated committee, CCU. He says he doesn't want to do that anymore. Says he'll run he'll win if you run. So that knocks it down to what 8-7 the other way.
So you just get
and
one
then
more solid Republican,
and you have the majority. That's it. It's all up to you, Ray. He said it's all up to you,
Okay, so
Ray.
here's the problem, Jerry, is that in order for me to run for office, I have to leave the radio during the campaign.
Only during the campaign.
Okay, you going to do it?
Got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
You
kidding me?
come here.
No, I'll tell you.
And there's a lot of paperwork that actually you're going to have to do.
I'll make this commitment. Okay, I'll make this commitment. If you run and promise to win,
promise to win.
I will find someone to do your morning show.
888-255-888-TALK. We'll have a contest for it. 7:22 in the morning, and you know we like to say that this is supposed to be meaningful and relevant conversation here on the program. And this story here from Sabrina Salas Montanani at KUAM, and going over a piece of video that we all saw because I played it on Monday morning, and it is a video of Father Julius, who is the pastor in Umatic and Molesso, and this is a scene that many people that were down there for the All Souls Day observations had seen. This is not the only piece of video of Father Julius walking around, blessing the crowd, blessing the spirits on All Souls Day. Normally they use, and I forget I used to know it when I was an altar boy. The little thing, it looks like a flashlight.
A sprinkler.
The sprinkler. It's a sprinkler that they've got there. This archdiocese approved sprinkler, and he decided that there's just so many people. I got to get through this pretty quick. So he went to Home Depot or Benson or someplace, got himself a spray bottle, blessed the water on the inside of it, and started walking around like he was killing bugs with some flit or something like that.
At least it wasn't repurposed and didn't read Clorox on the outside.
Because
if it was a Clorox repurposed
But
bottle.
here's the other angle that nobody's thinking about. This guy is the neo-cats, and so it's creating a bigger divide because the traditionalists are like, see what they're doing
Is
to
he
our
a
religion.
neo-cat?
I don't know.
I've seen this actually quoted by several people.
Yeah, I stay out of that fight because there's a no-win on that.
Are you
Using
neo?
according to the archdiocese, using a spray bottle to douse churchgoers with holy water had before this been unheard of on Guam. Normally, priests sprinkle parishioners with holy water from a bottle or use a handheld sprinkler called, there it is, aspergillum. The video shows people dodging the spray of holy water from Father Julius. Some ducked and others expressed surprise at being hit with a torrent of holy water. The archdiocese, according to KUM, Mike Burns, has responded with the following statement. Father Julius and I have discussed the matter. He meant no disrespect and faced a large area to be blessed with holy water. He'll use the traditional means of sprinkling holy water on future occasions.
Otherwise known as he got in trouble.
With
he
the
got
boss.
spanked.
Look, sit down. Sit down. We're going to have a conversation.
No, I wonder, remember when we were
if Father
growing up
Julius is
and
gonna
corporal
fight-
punishment was actually authorized?
I was
wonder if
punished
he
by
got knuckle spanked by a ruler.
Knuckle spank or maybe, forced to kneel on raw rice or holding books out with his hands
Bible.
outstretched.
It isn't as if the man
The Catholic Bible.
used a super soaker or something like that, right?
He
I
might
don't-
as well have had. Did you see the stream?
I don't think that's been ruled out, though. He just said he can't use that for the holy water. So next year, Father Julius, me and you, bro, we'll just have our Super Soaker War. 7:24 in the morning. Quick look at what happened on the market just because it's, part of the format. S&P 500, I think everybody's in record territory except the S&P 500. 3,074. They're up by 3 or so points. The NASDAQ, 84.34. They picked up 1.48 worth of points to close at 84.34. Dow Jones Industrial Average green by 30 to close at 27,492. Sweet numbers coming out of the American markets. FTSE's looking good, 73.88. The Nikkei is up by 400 points today, 23,251. It's hard to do, but if you've got any funds that are indexed to the Nikkei, this is a feel-good day for you. The Hang Seng at 136 points up, 27,638. Even Shanghai's looking good, 29.91. They picked up 16 points in trade overnight. Looking at some of the other commodities, just because a couple of people have asked me to keep an eye on gold. Gold trading at $1,486, off by 24. So it was touching about $1,500 the other day, down by about $25 in trade today. We're looking at up numbers for both of the oil commodities. $56.67 yesterday for West Texas crude. Picked up 48 cents worth of value today, $57.15. And hold your horses on this one. I'm not going to make a prediction, but if it was me that was in charge of the numbers at the gas pumps, I might be looking at a couple of buttons to push. 65.35, that's where it was trading in the last couple of days. New numbers today, 67.49. Tapas is up $2.14 in trade today. So if you are near the E for ever ready, today might be a good day to put some gasoline in the car, because I think that's enough of an increase in the price of the raw product in order to get some kind of a raise going on fuel prices here on Guam. 7:26 in the morning. Jerry Roberts in the studio, and can I give you kind of one more, it's a businessy feel-good piece?
Absolutely.
It is the 40th anniversary of the Happy Meal from McDonald's.
Really?
Can you imagine? 40 years. Up until then, you had to buy things kind of individually. They had not packaged it, didn't put it in a box, didn't put a toy in the box either. So, in honor of the celebration, McDonald's will be releasing limited edition surprise Happy Meals with your favorite throwback toys. You will find mini Beanie Babies. And Happy Meal Beanie Babies were among, I believe, the most collectible Beanie Babies of all time. People go to the McDonald's and find out what the new Beanie Baby was supposed to be. Hello Kitty's going in there, changeables, and 100 Years of Magic collection from the Disney company, all going in. And I hope they're going to be doing this here on Guam. Now,
I want those little figurines of like a Hamburglar. What's the milkshake guy's name?
There's a milkshake guy?
Yeah, the big purple.
Well, Mike doesn't know, but he
remember
says
his
there
name.
is.
But yeah, he's a big purple
knows.
guy, and
He
he looks
knows.
like
He's no
he's a milkshake.
Right? So there it is. And so
And then Ronald McDonald.
Remember the other day I was riffing on, if your business were to go away tomorrow, would somebody write about it? Would there be somebody so keen on your business? And so it might be something fun for those of you that have been in business for a while, maybe not 40 years, 10, 15 years or something like that. Bring something back that you know that your customers enjoyed.
Great idea.
If it is not something that is part of your regular menu of treats for your customers, I mean, if off the top of my head, it's going to be a food one, but you got the guy that runs Reds and Bad Apple, right? What's the name of the Chef Eddie? So Chef Eddie ought to bring back one of the things that he used to make over at the Agania shop for a long, long time. His piggies in a blanket, or a shrimp in a blanket, right? Shrimp and bacon. He used to do that back at his old place for a long, long time.
Wait, let me add to this.
Yeah,
if I may,
because it's a fun
It's
riff,
a great
isn't it?
idea, but here's the idea that I want you to go with.
Mm-hmm.
The point.
Yeah.
And star and boss bring back the things that you need to bring back. Make it a radio station promotion.
Okay.
Got it?
Can you do it? No. I'm busy.
I'll find somebody. I'll find somebody. For you.
Mike, do it. Michael, do it. What do you need?
Yeah, Grimace.
Grimace.
Yeah,
Grimace.
Yeah.
Was
purple guy.
Was it purple?
Always
okay.
said duh before he said anything else.
Oh, there's senators like that. 7:30 in the morning. You know what? That's all the time that we've got for me to talk. Jerry Roberts has been in the studio waiting.
And he'll be one of them next year, by the way.
To become to do today's Extra Point. Live today, tomorrow not live because tomorrow is Live to Lead.
Live to Lead us tomorrow.
Brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes. Here's Jerry Roberts.
Has anybody ever said that you should slow your roll? If it's Ray Gibson, the answer to that is yes. In the world of productivity, though, that might not be a good idea. Today, we'll examine a very important factor in success on the Extra Point.
When's the last time you looked at your homeowner's insurance?
A homeowner's policy protects much more than just your house. It also protects you against claims from someone being hurt on your property. If a visitor is injured at your place, how much are you covered for? The smart thing to do is get the answer today.
That's the Insurance Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today by calling Guahan Insurance Services at 475-1162 or visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center in Tamuning.
When it comes to getting things done, you don't want to go so fast that you sacrifice quality in the name of jamming out the most work possible. Just as important, I do want to make sure I get my roll rolling, taking advantage of momentum. I call it leaning into the job. Momentum is like Newton's first law of motion, which states that an object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion. There's a second part I'll go to in a moment. The example I like to use is when we start to exercise. At the beginning, we may feel some resistance as our muscles aren't ready. But after a few minutes, we loosen up and develop a rhythm. We begin to feel good as we move around, and that encourages us to keep moving. It also works in reverse. When we're vegging out on the sofa, binge-watching our way through a Netflix weekend, the longer we lay there, the more we want to lay there, and it's tough to get moving again. Now that second part I mentioned. Thus, this momentum will continue at the same speed and in the same direction unless it is impacted by a countering force that interrupts it. How it applies to work is important. We ramp up our production and feel good about it. Tomorrow, we do it again, then the next day, and the next. And soon we have that momentum working in our favor. Days seem to go faster, and we feel as if we're being carried along on a wave of energy. I've had people describe it as a near supernatural experience. Progress and growth seem effortless. So what could those countering forces be that could halt our momentum? When a project comes to an end and there's a gap until we start the next one, we get out of our routine and aren't pushing ourselves the same way as before. Distractions often take over, and it can take a long time until we begin to see ourselves in motion again. Another counterforce could be negative feedback from a supervisor. I've seen people knocked completely off course by a boss who cared less about the results than they did about exerting control over someone just because they could. It was a power play. An ego play, totally unnecessary. In sports, you often hear the term ride the hot hand. That's about momentum. If I have a player who's hitting most of their shots, I'm going to keep feeding them the ball. If a worker is breezing along and scoring results for our team, my goal will be to clear any and all obstacles and roadblocks and distractions out of their way so they can continue delivering at a high level. I want to know how they get into their group to start things rolling and what stops them. If I'm the worker, I also want to know those things. These are legitimate conversations that should take place. Momentum is real, and the top people in every field learn to master it. Think about how it can make a difference for you. Then sit down and plan for it. That's the Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today for 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
Got you, Jerry. 7:33 in the morning, and if you want to get started on something, my friend Vanny Borja is back on Guam, and she is going to be doing a thing this weekend, free sweat sesh, as in sweat session. Come move your body and get your sweat on with my team Saturday at 8 a.m. at the EPAL Amphitheater. Just bring a good attitude and get ready to sweat. And I love this. Our team understands that starting is really the hardest part, and that's why we hope you can join. Don't doubt yourself. Invite your friends. Everybody is welcome. You want details, Vanny, V-A-N-E-E, Borja on Facebook. And I love the way she puts that. We know how hard it is to get things started.
Momentum.
It's but once you get that momentum going, and anybody that knows Vanny has paid any attention to what she's been able to do over the last year with her and her hustle, you know that she's been able to maintain that momentum over a long amount of time and bring some of that to Guam. So I think that's a goodness thing. 7:34 in the morning. That's Jerry Roberts in the Extra Point. As I said, we are live this morning, pre-recorded tomorrow because Jerry is doing Live to Lead. And Mark Cruz said, see you there, Jerry. So be on the lookout. You got at least one guy coming. There you go. It's time for headlines being brought to you by Auntie Loli from Remax Diamond Realty. And if you've got something that you want to buy or sell or rent out or do something with, then just give her a telephone call. I've actually got a number here, 688-6743. 688-6743 for Auntie Lolita. Now with news from the Guam Daily Post, here's Mana Silva Tyron.
Federal reimbursement for the Guam Department of Education school meals program has been increased by 17%, according to a press release from Adelup. The reimbursement rate is effective July 1st this year. The release doesn't say how much the reimbursement translates to in dollars. For more than a decade, DOE's been trying to increase the reimbursement rate for its National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program. This great news allows DOE to be better able to maintain the free lunch program at all public schools, which means free lunch and breakfast for school kids. The Legislature's Committee on Environment, Revenue, Tax, and Procurement will conduct a public hearing this morning starting at 9. The hearing will look at appointments to various boards, including the Guam Board of Equalization, Public Utilities Commission, and the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board. And then at 2 this afternoon, the committee will hold public hearings on a couple of bills. One of the bills mandates regular testing and mitigation of radon in schools and child care facilities, as well as the assessment of schools, the government facilities. And the Department of Corrections up for an oversight hearing this evening, as well as the Committee on Judiciary and Public Safety delve into the many problems at DOC. That hearing begins at 5 o'clock in the public hearing room. And those are some of your headlines from the Guam Daily Post. I'm Mana Silva Tyron.
Thanks, Mana. 7:36, and that's iConnect time. And if you want to get a job there, openings in the corporate sales division at iConnect. If you've got sales experience, excellent communication skills, you can work as part of a team, self-motivated, energetic, outgoing, you got the hustle, take it with you to hr@iconnectguam.com. Send your resume there or visit iconnectguam.com for more information. iConnect is an equal opportunity employer.
Lolita Kamet from Remax Diamond Realty, a friendly, hardworking, and passionate Remax professional who is committed to helping you make a difference in your life and helping you achieve the American dream of home ownership. She also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, military, and corporate relocation. So for all your real estate needs, call Lolita Kamet from Remax Diamond Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
Multiple activities on the roadway in front of Sumai and working my way northbound of Marine Corps Drive. Shouldn't see too much slowing you down and all the way into the downtown Hagutnia area. Working in the opposite direction. Just need to get out of Dedido. But once you do, you should be, well, no, it doesn't really clear up until you get past St. John's. And then you've got intersection traffic at all the usual spots if that's your way into town. Otherwise, Route 3, busy up until Marine Corps Drive. You'll see some traffic on Waiseng Song as well. 8, 10, and 16, very, very busy this morning from around where the ball fields are, all the way to Happy Mart. You'll make it through the intersection, but then you're going to slow down right in front of the Golden Sea. You'll see the same slowdown northbound into 8, 10, and 16. And if you're on Route 10, headed in that direction, you know the drill. Untalon Middle School, Wendy's area is rolling busy. The intersection of 10 and 15, also busy just by the church. And you're going to see some traffic over by Payless, GCC, UOG, etc. Route 4, running mostly clear until you get to the intersection of 4 and 15. You know that intersection that takes you into Apicento Garden? Very busy through there right now. And frankly, it looks like it's been busy for kind of a long way. I'm wondering if that's a lot of intersection traffic or maybe there's been some kind of accident. Don't know. If you see something, let me know about it. 888-8255. That's Right Now Traffic here on The Point.
Go green. Go hybrid. Go to Nanbo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nanbo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nanbo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for details.
Let me just take a quick look at Facebook Live, see what's going on, see who's playing with me this morning. I got Kay Leah. Nice to see you. Lawrence J. El Cairo. Director Hannah Cho. Debbie Knapp is online, as well as Keena McCausland has finally found us this morning. Don't know what happened. It wasn't you today. It was me. Earlier we had a problem logging on to Facebook Live and YouTube Live, but we managed to sort that out with the assistance of the guy that wrote the code, who was able to tunnel into the computer system and get things going again. I see Joe Cruz, real Joe Cruz, online. Cousin Teddy says, sell GMH to the highest bidder in exchange to build a new hospital. 1031 tax-free exchange deal, so our people will not be burdened to pay for a new one. Our leaders got us in enough debt already. Got John Wigston online, Tony and Annette and Pinko Ada, Brad Hokinson, who is here, Annette Ada Vasquez, Kenny Williams, James Adkins. James was lurking yesterday because his wife was on the radio. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
See, now he's hooked. He's going to be here every
back.
single morning. Randy Landis says, Ray, just make the announcement already. Rico says, run, Ray, run. I ran last night, and me and my friends from Southern Mountain Gear, we all got together and ran around Gania. That was us with the lights on our head. Tom Taji saying, good morning to everybody. Smug says, we'll take turns hosting the program. One guy will come in and do the show on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. James Howard says, I'll cover for you. Keith Parsky says, I'll do it. And Carmen Paredes is online listening to the program all the way in Valencia, Spain, where I have no idea what the time could possibly be. Hold on just one second, but while we get to a couple of other things. Eric Mendel saying, sup. You sound like my daughter. That's what she does. Hey, Miami, what's going on? She looks at me and she goes, sup. Because she's the coolest. Yuka Hechanova is online, also among the coolest. We need to get a running summit going here. I haven't seen you and Manny in like forever. Fire truck and ambulance turn towards Home Depot. Thanks for the update, Dennis. We'll see if we can find out anything else going on. And if you want to feel dumb, ask a question about McDonald's characters, because I was the only one that forgot Grimace.
Well, no, I didn't remember his name either.
So, that makes two of us.
I
That makes-
remembered him. I remembered the purple figure. I
So
just
it
couldn't
was-
remember his name.
if it was Shelley or Dave in the studio, they probably would have gotten it. But Mana and I we're the two dummies in the family, and neither one of us remembered that it was
Well,
Grimace.
you're dumber because you didn't remember him at all.
John Ray just says big purple, and everybody's chiming in. Ron, and John Ray Titano, and Smug Wimp. They're all hollering at the radio. Grimace, Grimace, you idiots! Smug with a point. McDonald's distributes more toys than anyone, Hasbro, Mattel, etc., because of those Happy Meals. In Spain, it's party time going on out there. That's
You
nice.
know, I like to go to different McDonald's whenever I go to a foreign country.
Just
I
to see
like
what
to
they've
go to
got?
the McDonald's just to see what different thing they have. In Singapore, they have this curry dipping sauce that's absolutely gross for your chicken nuggets. But I tried it.
Yeah, where
And
was
then
I?
you go to Hong Kong and they have noodles and then something like egg foo young.
What did they have in
Taco
the Philippines that I thought was interesting?
Fried chicken and spaghetti.
Fried chicken, yeah, fried chicken and spaghetti over at
Yeah,
McDonald's. The
almost
big
like
competition
Chicken
with Chicken Joy. I had the Chicken Joy for the first time in a while, but I had it with gravy this time because Arlene made me eat it that way.
Do you like it?
Oh man, that's good. 7:42. Anyway, so the conversation is that they're saying we'll take turns and all this. Jerry Roberts getting with Mike Limtiaco, and they put together this cunning plan where if I run, the assumption is that I'm going to win, name recognition, all of that stuff. And so Mike said if I run and promise to win, then he will run and promise to win, and we'll find a couple of other Republicans, maybe you, suitable for framing, and then take over a majority of the legislature. But here's the problem: as I understand the current law, I will have to leave the radio station. I will have to stop doing this show because it equal to, or I would have to provide equal time, I believe, to everybody else that's going to be running in order to be compliant with the law. I don't know that for sure, so I thought maybe I'd get Maria Pangilinan on the line and have her sort it out for me. Good morning, Maria.
Hi, Maria.
Half a day, Ray Gibson, and who are you with?
Mana Silva Tyron.
My baby sister does news here now.
Hey, Mana Silva.
Half a day.
So I told you she likes you, but she already likes you better than me. Anyway,
Well, I love Maria.
So Maria, if I wanted to run for office, would I have to leave the radio station or provide equal time to the other candidates? What's the law?
There is a specific law that talks about advertising. And advertising in that section, I think on Chapter 17 of the Election Code, it talks about the media giving equal discounts, if there's any, and equal time, equal radio or television time, or even print time, if there's a question that somebody is getting more than the other. Yes.
But if I'm just working on the radio and not expressing myself as a candidate or otherwise disclosing, I mean, this is what I do for a living. It's my job, and in the course of the 4 hours, I could play radio advertising that supported my candidacy, but the mere fact of me being on the radio should not be interpreted as a commercial, correct?
Well, probably, and then again, that would be a specific question for the commission. It's something that has not been addressed at all by the commission, and as I had mentioned before, that's what I had mentioned before is what the law states.
Yeah.
So you being such an icon, the commission has to would have to look at it at that specific situation. Issue, Ray Gibson.
So what I think I'm gonna, what I might do just for fun is I might get a packet for fun. And
they won't be ready, sir, until January.
Oh, see, I was right. It was in January. I mean, that's 2 months from now, though. That's only 2 months from now. So what I'm thinking is I'll pick up a packet, turn it in, and then see if everybody else complains. I can see everybody else in both of the other parties complaining in really high, shrill voices that it's unfair competition for me to even be on the radio and be a candidate. So I think maybe it'd be fun to test that.
Be the election commission's guest, sir. And all we're looking for at the election commission are excellent candidates. So please, but just be serious that you're going to run.
I'll tell you. Wait a second. I'm not going to commit to anything right now.
But picking up a packet
2020
doesn't necessarily say that you're committed to run. It just means that there's an interest, right?
What? No, I'd take it all the way. I'd take it all the way just to test the law. I would test the Guam Election Commission because nobody's ever asked this question. And as I say, it's not like I'm going to be giving myself free advertising. But if I'm on the radio and talking about McDonald's Happy Meals, that's not an advertisement. I don't see why that would be required equal time or contribute to equal time balances for the other candidates.
Right.
They'll complain about it, and like I said, we'll take it back to the Guam Election Commission and have the Election Commission determine whether or not my mere presence on the radio is an affront to the law.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And again, Ray Gibson, you can even ask the question by writing to us and letting them decide. Our next meeting
is basically saying, spare us the headache.
I think it needs to be addressed. I mean, if you don't like a law, this is an old rule that Lee Holmes taught me years ago, and it is, if you don't like a law, challenge it. If you look at a law and you think that sucks, and for me, the people say, well, you ought to run for office. I'm like, well, I can't run for office and be on the radio at the same time, or can I? Is the question, and I think that's something that would not be tested unless somebody like me on the radio actually tested it. So I might just do that, Maria.
Thank you, Ray Gibson. And maybe you attract more than the 51,000 voters we have right now.
Well, you know what, and I would help you. I would also help the Guam Election Commission in any way, shape, or form to remind people that if they have moved out of their regular district, you have to sign up in your new district. I used to live in Barragata. I live in Mongmong Totomaiti. And even though they're right next to each other, I mean, in some cases, literally feet apart, I still have to go back to the Election Commission and tell them that I'm a Mongmong Totomaiti resident now, right?
Yes. And you can do it at the DMV, at the Division of Motor Vehicles. You can do it online at the GEC website, which is gec.guam.gov, or you can do it with the volunteer registrars that are out there already.
Oh, really?
This is on our website.
And if you know of one, you could actually have them come to your office and do the registration for you.
Maria,
so
can you
it
send
makes
somebody?
it so convenient.
Send somebody by here, if not today, tomorrow, and we'll do it on the radio. We'll do it on Facebook Live.
Okay.
What do I need to? Can I just show you my utility statement?
No, you just swear on the form that you are a resident of Mongmong Totomaiti, and just present your ID. And you must also swear that you are a U.S. citizen and resident of that village.
I am a U.S. citizen, right?
It's questionable.
I'll have to check on the citizenship question, but I'm pretty sure I meet the requirements. Maria, you are awesome. Thanks for calling. And thanks for helping me out.
Oh, thanks always to Dulas Maasi for helping us out, Ray Gibson, and Mana Silva Tyron.
Love you, Maria.
I'll see you pretty soon. 888-825-5888-TALK. That's the telephone number here at the radio station.
She never really just calls you Ray, right?
No, it's always Ray Gibson. It's always Ray Gibson. I think she does that to everybody. I'm sure that, in another world, another 20 minutes or something, it'd be, something Patty Arroyo. 7:50 in the morning, and it is the Ray Gibson Show. As you can tell, because have we talked about anything that's actually in the news here this morning that did not have an impact on me one way or the other?
Oh, no.
Okay,
no.
McDonald's.
This is like Oprah's magazine, with Oprah on the front.
Pam Duvall says, run, Ray, run. Nate Horn says, just saying, you're taking Josh's advice. If you don't like it, you run for office. We've already talked about this. We've already talked about the Ray Gibson demeanor. If I go to the legislature, they said, what's your platform, Gibson? What is it that you're going to be running on? And I'm running on the platform of no. I want to go in there, and anytime that somebody has got any kind of legislation, the answer is no. Even if I like it, the answer is no, because I think that you need to sell some of this stuff. And I think I need to be the guy that says, that'd be an interesting law. It's too bad we haven't solved all the other problems that we have here. This thing with the FESPAC, and it just keeps going around in my head. We shouldn't be spending $400,000 to send a bunch of people out to FESPAC. I'm not saying don't go, but pay your own way. I need $400,000 to help Guam Memorial Hospital. Look at the front page of today's Guam Daily Post. GMH, GRMC, ERs are in overflow mode. We need to hire more nurses. We need to give them more of the telemetry tools that they need to be able to get the job done. But instead, we're sitting around here talking about going to a party. Somebody referred to it as our fake wealth. I think it was Richard Leon online this morning that refers to it as we just want to go out and show off how rich we are out here in this part of the world, even though we're not. We're sitting around trying to keep up with the Joneses. 888-8255. And I think one of the other questions, so I'm completely with Therese Terlai over at the legislature asking these questions. I'm down with Tello. I'm down with Tello Taitagui because Tello's got the temerity to ask them why all of a sudden FESPAC is $4,000 ahead. Good morning, Tello.
Good morning, Ray. Good morning, Guam.
Hey, keep that up. These guys need to show their numbers. Why is it $4,000 ahead? And why, for heaven's sakes, do we have to send 100 people?
Yeah, exactly. Well, the limit is 100. That's what they said, and to me, it should be
the limit is 100.
The limit is 100, according to Honolulu, Hawaii, to the FESPAC 2020 Hawaii group.
Mm-hmm.
So they told them it's up to 100. So my question to them was, I hope this whole 100 is all going to be the artists. They deserve to go, and well, come to find out, no, the committee's going to be counted into that group. And I said, okay, well, how many? And I think there's 6 of them.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, 6 of them, okay. So you all get counted into a group, and this should really be the artist. That doesn't make sense. And another thing, if it's 100, which they didn't even bother, I gave them an opportunity to their opening remarks and listen to what they had to say, and I was hoping they would bring their budget. I mean, you would guess they would bring a budget. And they would also tell us that there was a limit to only 100 artisans that are allowed to go to this. So they didn't. So I guess I had to bring it out to everybody. I did my homework. I read it. I worked with FESPAC in 2016, when I was at GVB at the time. I know what it entails, especially prior to that. I did my homework. I called Monica Guzman, who's well-versed. And that's another thing. You have this committee moving forward with FESPAC 2020, and you're not incorporating individuals who went through this. I mean, you have one person from Paha who went through FESPAC, but you have a wealth of knowledge of other people who've organized, who've gone to FESPACs, and I'm just surprised they never even called Monica Guzman for any advice or suggestions or what to expect.
Because they got money. It feels like they've got money to burn. It's just that we found $400,000, and that money should be used to advance the arts locally. Not that I've ever been really in favor of that law, but I mean, if that's what it is, that's what it is. I just got this feeling like we're trying to show off to the rest of the Pacific community, and getting this from one of your colleagues at the legislature says Hawaii only sent 5 delegates to the FESPAC on Guam. So why do we need to send this massive delegation?
Up to 100. Well, why don't they fundraise? That's another thing. And Ray, I know you're talking about FESPAC, but the one I'm really concerned about is today at 2 o'clock when we have another bill that's on the floor asking for $400,000 again in tax credits. People don't realize tax credits is also money. They're not thinking this is money that would be going into our general fund from taxes, and instead, allowing somebody else to use that for what they owe in taxes. So that means our general fund will be $400,000 shy.
Right.
By giving somebody else's tax credit.
Well, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting that you bring this up because it's sponsored by Joe St. Augustine. Joe St. Augustine is normally the tax guy. He's never met a tax increase he doesn't like. But in this case, relative to authorizing the issuance of tax credits for contributors to the renovation, improvement, and participation of the Guam Basketball Conference to the FIBA Asia Cup. And so I like basketball too, but you got a team and you want to do some fundraise. Let's go to the Fannies, let's go to Venue, let's go to Roots.
Exactly, and that's what all the other athletic teams do. They fundraise. Now, what was it, about 2 terms ago? I think in the 33rd Guam Legislature. I remember I was the Deputy General Manager at GVB at the time when Senator Morrison introduced a bill called the Ambassadorship Program, which passed. And this allowed athletic teams or even dance groups, ambassadors that were going off island to participate in anything, an event, conference, a sports event.
Yeah.
And this is where they go there and they're able to fill out an application and get some of their airfare covered. So they don't even, on top of fundraising, they can go there to, that's why this program was set up for things like this. You're talking about $400,000 for this basketball team to participate in 3 games that are off island. 3 games that are off island. And then some of that money to make an improvements at the University of Guam Fieldhouse to hold a basketball tournament. We've got, you saw Teresa Terlahi today. She was almost in tears because here's a person who loves the culture. We all love the culture. And we all want to see it, keep, in the future for our next generations to keep thriving. But we've got a hospital that's breaking down. We've got roads that need to be repaired. That's a safety issue. I don't know how many times it's.
What's going to happen when CMS? What's going to happen, Tello, when CMS comes through and says, we just can't work and play with Guam Memorial Hospital anymore. We've sent them the warnings. We've given them all the deadlines, and we've got some structural issues at Guam Memorial Hospital, and everything there is related to patient care and safety of everybody in the facility. What's going to happen when CMS comes through finally and says no mas with Guam Memorial Hospital, and we're all going to be sitting around going, well, FESPAC was fun though. At least we sent a great delegation off to FESPAC.
Or to a basketball game.
Or to a basketball, yeah. You and I are definitely on the same. I'm going to vote for you in this next election, Tello.
Thank you, Ray. I appreciate it.
I'm going to vote for you again. I'm going to vote for you again. That's going to be fun.
And I want people to know, everyone thinks I'm a hard ass, sorry to use the A word, but, I'm not. I think everybody wants me to ask these questions because everybody else is too afraid to, that they might, stir the pot.
Because you're going to ruffle the feathers, and people are going to say that you hate art. We don't hate art. We don't hate the culture. And we want you to go to FESPAC. Go and do some fundraising, and let's take $400,000 and put it where it's desperately needed at Guam Memorial Hospital. We'll send some money over to John Fernandez over at the Department of Education. We don't have enough cops on the streets. Officer Chong said that up in Jigo at Jimmy's get-together on Monday night. How many of these things that the people of Guam, really all of us, need before we stop going to parades and presentations and FESPACs?
Yeah, I think we should put some priority.
Definitely.
Well, and it's not happening.
My priority, I'm sorry, baby, my priority here is I got to get us to Fox News. I'll talk to you pretty soon. Thanks. Okay. Appreciate the time. We're KUSG again. This is The Point.
Revised testimony from an impeachment witness. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. And the change is spurring more debate about a possible quid pro quo. Fox's Jared Halpern is live on Capitol Hill.
President Trump's ambassador to the European Union, Gordon Sondland, attached an addendum to testimony he gave last month to House committees leading the impeachment inquiry. Sondland now says he believed in September that U.S. aid to Ukraine was linked to a public statement by Ukraine's president to investigate corruption of former Vice President Joe Biden. The ambassador says he passed along that message to a top aide to Ukraine's president during a conversation conversation in Warsaw, saying then military aid was unlikely to resume until there was an anti-corruption statement. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. Well, there's been a dismissive reaction from the White House, where Fox's John Decker is live.
White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham reacting to the release of the transcript of the sworn testimony of Sondland, saying in a statement that Sondland squarely states that he did not know and still does not know when, why, or by whom the aid to Ukraine was suspended. He also said he presumed there was a link to the aid, but cannot identify any source for that assumption. Grisham added, no amount of salacious media-biased headlines, which are clearly designed to influence the narrative, change the fact that the president has done nothing wrong. Lisa?
Thanks, John. Meantime, the three House committees leading the impeachment probe have requested testimony from the White House Chief of Staff, Mick Mulvaney, on Friday. The massacre of 9 Americans living in northern Mexico remains under investigation. 3 women and 6 children killed, including 2 infants. Their SUVs ambushed on a dirt road. Mexico's security chief still not ruling out a case of mistaken identity in a turf war between rival cartels. The victims appear to be all related to members of a breakaway Mormon sect whose members have stood against cartels for years. America's listening to Fox News.
GRMC's Neuroscience and Neurology Department treats a wide spectrum of disorders associated with the nervous system, spine, and brain. Some of the more common disorders include seizures, epilepsy, dementia, sleep disorders, migraine, and stroke, which is one of the leading causes of death on Guam. GRMC's neuroscience team is equipped with the latest technology and the finest neurological doctors. To make an appointment, contact GRMC Specialty Clinics at 645-5500.
Hulu is all your TV in one place, plus more. Watch thousands of hit shows, movies, and award-winning Hulu originals for only $5.99 per month. It's TV without the cable contract and the freedom of on-demand streaming. Get current network shows from ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox, and binge watch every season of your favorite cable shows. Premium Hulu viewing is brought to you by Proline Automotive and AB Sports, Guam's store for Nike. To advertise on Hulu, call Choice Digital at 989-0042.
As the impeachment probe continues, each side of the aisle blaming the other for not getting much of anything else done.
Welcome to another week in Senator McConnell's legislative graveyard.
Senate Democratic Leader Chuck Schumer says Majority Leader Mitch McConnell should allow votes on bipartisan bills, including spending bills needed to avoid a government shutdown later this month.
I'm really beyond frustrated at our inability to get the defense appropriation bill up. The Defense Department suffers mightily under continuing resolutions.
McConnell says Democrat objections on the fine print on that defense spending, including border wall funding, could be worked out later in the process. A popular restaurant chain facing calls for change as some Chicago area customers claim racism.
A group of multiracial customers are blasting Buffalo Wild Wings after alleging they were recently asked by an employee to move to another table at a Naperville restaurant because a regular customer was uncomfortable with them. The group's attorney, Cannon Lambert, saying a lawsuit won't be necessary if the restaurant chain changes the way it hires and trains employees.
Where they can show other corporate community participants what it is to stand up to racism.
Buffalo Wild Wings says apologies have been extended that it fired 2 employees and that others will undergo sensitivity training. In Chicago, Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
The NTSB out with a new report on test crashes involving Uber's self-driving vehicles. Investigators say there were 37 crashes in the 18 months before a fatal crash in March of last year, which remains under investigation. And most of the test crashes involved another vehicle striking those test vehicles. The NTSB holds a probable cause hearing on the fatal crash in 2 weeks. Second record close in a row for the Dow, landing at 27,492. Fox News.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
Proline Automotive has everything to customize your whip. From custom wheels to Nankang tires or just hubcaps, they have it. Feel better that it's protected with a dash cover, car cover, seat covers, or floor mats. Visit Proline Automotive, located in Harmon Industrial Park.
Half a day. Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. I'm Jade Uggan of Umatic, and this is where I start my day. Listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Protehi itanonmo. Protect your land. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the all-new Pit Smoked Brisket. How would you like it?
I'll take a man who knows what's what.
Y'all know what? The all-new Pit Smoked Brisket at Subway is smoked slower than a slug going up a down escalator, that's what. I'm talking tender, juicy brisket, naturally pit smoked for at least 13 hours. What's more, it's got layer after layer of smoky flavor. Smoked cheddar and barbecue sauce on delicious Italian bread. Subway, make it what y'all want, what not. Limited time only at participating restaurants.
Day and good morning. It's 8:06. I'm Mona Silva Tyron with some of your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Federal reimbursement for the Guam Department of Education school meals program has been increased by 17%. According to a press release from Adelup, the reimbursement rate is effective July 1st of this year. The press release doesn't say how much, though, the reimbursement translates to in dollars. For more than a decade, DOE had been trying to increase the reimbursement rate for the National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program. For the last few years, they piloted a free meals program for all students in a handful of schools. Last school year, though, the program was implemented district-wide, which ensures all DOE students can eat breakfast and lunch for free. The program cost DOE $6 million a year, with the federal government picking up the rest of the $18 million tab. Superintendent John Fernandez says they officially requested an increase in reimbursement rates from the U.S. Department of Agriculture in 2015, submitting to the federal agency the data to justify the request. He says they are excited that the efforts over the years have paid off and that Guam will finally receive an increased reimbursement rate reflective of our unique location in the Western Pacific. Guam's hub airline, United Airlines, recently voiced concern that a proposal to raise service fees imposed on airlines servicing Guam could squeeze the island's tourism industry. Any proposal to increase costs of air travel will reduce demand and ultimately have a negative effect on travel, trade, and commerce and tourism, United stated. Rather than increasing fees, they encourage Guam agencies to work with the industry on finding other solutions than a tax on travel. The airline was responding to a recent proposal, which is Bill 224, introduced by Vice Speaker Telena Nelson, that would raise the fees on airlines for Guam customs revenue from $9 million to $15 million a year. The Department of Corrections will be up for an oversight hearing this evening with the Committee on Judiciary and Public Safety. They're looking into the many problems at the prison. In an earlier oversight hearing, they focused on the erroneous release of prisoners. Tonight, they'll look at the shortage of manpower and other issues. That hearing starts at 5 o'clock. Well, the Committee on Environment, Revenue, and Tax and Procurement will conduct a public hearing starting at 9 this morning. They'll look at a number of nominations to various boards. They include Earl Garrido to the Guam Board of Equalization, Doris Brooks to Public Utilities Commission, Ricardo Ampinco to the Public Utilities Commission, and Lisa Fisher to the Alcohol Board Control Board. Then at 2 p.m., the committee will hold a public hearing on two bills. Bill 168 mandates regular testing and mitigation of radon in schools and child care facilities and calls for a needs assessment of Government of Guam buildings. And Bill 204, which authorizes the issuance of tax credits for contributions to the renovation, improvement, and participation of the Guam Basketball Confederation to the FIBA Asia Cup. Sending a delegation to the 13th Annual Festival of the Pacific Arts continues to be a point of contention, with senators going back and forth on spending $400,000 to pay for the 100-pack delegation to attend FestPac. The bill was up for a public hearing yesterday, and it would reserve tourist attraction funds to pay for the trip. Bill 158 from Senator Kelly Marsh would also see an additional $100,000 set aside for annual participation. But senators in the meeting yesterday weighed the importance of Guam's participation in FESPAC against other priorities. Senator Tello Taitagui also questioning the projected expenses and why officials need $400,000 when previous appropriations was only at $150,000. Senator Therese Terlahi says FESPAC is important, but there are other priorities in the government. GMH's leaky roof is one of them. We'll have more news after this.
Did you know that home loan rates have plunged again? Would you like to take advantage of these lower rates to help lower your monthly payments? Refinancing doesn't have to be for another 30 years. It can be for 10, 15, or 20 years. It's up to you. Reduce your monthly payments. Pay off your loan earlier. At Bank Pacific, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender. Credit conditions apply.
Want to grow your business? Start a new venture? Or stay ahead of the competition? You can. With Docomo Pacific Smart Business Solutions tailored to your specific needs and ambitions, you can do it all. Partner with a network with best-in-class network coverage, state-of-the-art communication platforms, and a team dedicated to providing you with premium support. Call 688-2677 to start your journey to success today. Docomo Pacific Business, delivering your future today.
Georgia Mayor Jesse Blas may try to use the case for entrapment when he goes to trial next month, but the U.S. Attorney's Office says they will not be able to use that defense because there isn't any evidence to show that he was induced by the government to commit criminal acts. A motion was filed in the district court yesterday. The jailed mayor was arrested and charged with extortion and bribery for his alleged part in drug activity that took place in his village. While the government acknowledges it did use a cooperating defendant to propose criminal activity, it says the behavior didn't rise to the level required for a viable entrapment defense. Blas's trial is set for December 2nd. He remains behind bars until the trial takes place. Police are on the hunt for a man wanted in connection with a robbery of an island game room this month. K-Jack Steve is believed to be armed and dangerous and should not be approached. GPD says Steve is wanted for questioning in the October 21st robbery of Lucky Land Game Room in Dededo. He's described as being 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighing 180 pounds, and has black hair and brown eyes. He is said to be of Chuukese descent. He was last seen wearing a black short-sleeved hoodie, blue jeans, and white shoes, and carrying a black sling bag. He has 2 star tattoos on his neck, one under each cheek. Anyone who has information should call the Guam Police Department or Crime Stoppers. And those are some of your stories from the Guam Daily Post. Here now is your weather with Ray.
You know, that used to be gangster. You know, having the stars under, you know, the neck tattoos, basically. That used to be like super gangster, super pressure,
Now it's
right?
so commonplace.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Honda Civic of tattoos anymore, isn't it? I think everybody's
now it's gangsta if you put it on your head like
you know, right in the middle of your forehead. That's where you need to put these big scars and stars and other tattoos.
I have a tattoo, but I can't show you.
8:13 in the morning. I've got one since Born to Disco. I'm kind of still like, I'm glad that, yeah, that's why I wear sleeves all the time. Anyway, 8:13 in the morning, and yeah, is there weather today? It's if you've liked the weather since, I want to say, about Saturday. If you like the weather since about Saturday, you're going to love what we've got for you today. Another warm, mostly dry day, partly sunny with isolated showers. North winds 10 to 15 miles an hour, decreasing after sunset. Highs near 88 degrees and overnight lows should be about 78 degrees. Now, it did rain yesterday. It did rain for maybe 10 or 15 seconds because I was looking at the car in the driveway at the house, and then I went inside and did some sweeping or washing dishes or something like that. Came back out, and there were droplets on the car. Yeah. But that was it. There was no other sign whatsoever that there was any kind of rain going on.
It's my fault because I attempted to go to the car wash.
Were there droplets? Okay, sunset tonight 5:52, and sunrise tomorrow morning should be about 6:16. Weather radar, and it is showing maybe they're going to be another one of those weird little, just a few droplets on the car rain showers today.
If you get any rain, that'll be the kind it is. Do have some showers down to the south. Actually, a pretty good complex of thunderstorms down there, but they're staying down there. So no threat of those. Got the light north winds, as you can see by the radar motion. Everything kind of moving from top to bottom. Actually, I'd say those are north-northwest winds. So getting a bit of a change. I expect those winds will probably shift back to the east here in the next day or so. Going to satellite real fast here. We've got Super Typhoon Halong, which is way up there to the northeast of us. It is going to the northeast now and getting ready to get out of Dodge. So that's good news for us. Up in the upper left-hand portion of the screen, we have a cold front. Now, if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to you about what the
remembered
models
yesterday.
were showing. Yeah. Hold on. I got to play that one. But I was mentioning that the models were showing a push of cooler air coming on down to mark our first intrusion of the season. And I think that's what's coming in. I don't think that surge will get here, but it does mark the beginning of the fall season weather-wise for us.
Well, I
and
just needed to
that can
push more of
happen.
that cooler, dry air towards us.
Yeah,
You know,
that's really
it's
what's
the November winds that I look forward to, and we are now, the sixth day in November, so I'm looking for a lot of those cooler breezes to be coming up, and you know, it's totally selfish. When have I ever been selfish, right? But it's totally selfish here, and the reason why is because the Guam International Marathon, April the 4th, and so training for that needs to start around Thanksgiving-ish.
There you go.
And so I'm looking forward to drier conditions, and then we can get out and do some daytime running.
Yeah, what the models really are showing right now, and of course this is all long-term, but it's showing maybe another increase in tropical weather over the next week or so. I'm not sure what's going to spin up from that. We'll probably have a couple of systems. And then after that, things might cool down and we start to get some of these surges that we like so much this time of year.
Gotcha, 8:16 in the morning. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
Life happens. You need to go to work. The kids need to go to school. There are family events, friend events, any event, and everyone needs to communicate. When you need mobile services that you know you can rely on, choose GTA. As the winner of Ookla's 2019 award for Best Mobile Coverage on Guam, you can rely on us to offer you better plans to modernize your life, fit your needs, and keep you connected. So visit us today and let us help you connect. GTA, we start with you.
Portions of the program brought to you by American Medical Center, accepting most insurance and the new stuff, too, with Aetna. Call 647-8262 if you'd like to get more information on enrolling yourself as a patient at American Medical Center. It's also brought to you by Nanbo Insurance. You can save up to 50% with Nanbo's Bundle Up Plan. Call them today, 477-9754. American President Lines, global presence in a local home. Program's also brought to you by Take Care, offering proven wellness and fitness programs to encourage you and your family to live a healthy, balanced lifestyle, preventative care, being active, eating right, relaxing, and unwinding, and being socially connected as well. You want more details? Give them a call over at Take Care.
Bringing you closer to the action. Any speaker, anytime. Watch and listen live on thepoint.gu.
Hey, watch and listen live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live as well. Veronica Zine Lujan is online. I got Edward and Leandra Gonzalo. What's your WhatsApp number? The WhatsApp number is 988-5874, 988-5874. You can call into the radio station at 888-8255, 888-8255. Frankie Gutierrez online as well. Sandra De Leon Guerrero, who's having a hard time jumping into the program here today because they fell back in the States and is still not used to the time change. I wonder out loud when they're going to get around to just abolishing the concept of daylight savings time. There have been ample enough surveys and research that has been done that in the process of springing forward and the subsequent fall back, it just really messes with people and their lives. Their body clocks go all off, and we've seen cases of less productivity in the offices, less productivity in the workplace, more accidents on the roadways. People just a little bit groggier because of the change in one direction or another, moving closer and further away from the sun. And there's just all kinds of disruptions in the regular world of work and, and network scheduling and things like that.
Yeah, but America,
right? As we fight for the right to preserve our idiotic daylight savings time
and our measurements
our measurements.
Imperial
Yeah, that we
weights
just
and measures,
will not. Well, isn't it so though that the metric system is the de facto system for the United States? Didn't they make that a law? But nobody's following it.
I don't know. I know they were starting to teach us in school, and nobody cared.
Oh, the only reason why I have any knowledge of the metric system at all is because I'm a runner, and at some point that I got to convert miles into kilometers and things like that. I was looking at a shirt I got from the Philippines the other day, talking about a 32K finisher, and it literally took me. I was going to have to reach for the phone. I got to do the calculations. Wait, how many miles is that? 32K. It's not a marathon, but it's not a 10K either. 8:19 in the morning, and you get the telephone number for the radio station. I won't tell you which one of the current Republican senators is chiming in on my WhatsApp this morning. He says, I pray. Well, there's a clue. He says, I pray what I'm hearing is real and firm. You have my vote and my support. If Try not to get your hopes up too much here, guys. If you're listening to the broadcast and hear me saying anything about running for office, remember I told you how it was going to work. Number one, I ain't running into a full-time legislature. If I'm in it, it's going to be part-time. Or I'll tell you right now, I ain't going to be there for all of that. There's way too many. As Mona has pointed out when she was a senator, and again this morning, there's a lot of demands on your time when you're a senator.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of demands for your attention. And there's all these people that come in and go, hey, dude, I know we schooled together. Or you know what? I bought you beer over at most of the other night. So can you push this legislation through and give my business a little bit more of a leg up in the competition?
Yeah.
Right? There's gonna be all
and you lose
kinds of that
friendships
stuff.
over it. You lose you lose, I don't know how real they are, friendships, because, they contribute to your campaign, and when you don't meet their expectations, or you don't meet their demands, rather.
They get mad at you.
They get mad and say you don't like babies.
And that's one of the things. So number one, it's not gonna be a full-time job for me. I've already got a full-time job. So sessions and hearings and things like that. Yeah, maybe after I've had my nap, I'll show up and do those kinds of things. Also, don't necessarily want to run as a member of any organized party. It's not that I don't like you guys. I just don't need anything from you. And I think that's going to make it less fun for you to have me running around your tents. And again, there's going to be fundraisers and there's going to be speech making and stuff like that. And I don't.
You also hold the both.
I just want to go and I just want to hang out. You don't want a nighttime
You hold
run.
like qualities of both
Republican and Democrat.
Republican and Democrat.
You're in my heart. Can I say that?
You party like a Democrat, but you
party like a Democrat.
Your policies are very Republican.
So I don't know. I mean, if it's just a question of name recognition and adding another body to the count for a majority, that might be fun. But personally, for me, the fun part would be challenging some of the expectations. Can I run for office and still be on the radio? Because I can't imagine a world that would be any more fun. Not that I'm not having a good time now. I'm having a blast. But it would be even more fun if I was able to run for political office and be on the radio at the same time.
Here's one thing that you would have to consider is how much is it going to cost to throw your hat into the ring just to exercise, or test this theory or question the system, because it's going to have to go when somebody challenges it.
What do I got to pay?
Lawyers are going to have to jump in. It won't be you. It'll be the government.
It's fine. Then preempt it and make a law that says that you can be on the radio or be in the media and run for office at the same time. Because that in my mind is the question. That's the fun part. So come January, I will tell you this. In January, I'll pick up a packet. Can you remind me?
Yes.
Okay. So in January,
we'll go together.
We'll go together. Ooh, you can pick up a packet too. Right? Get all the Democrats. They're all freaking out. They're going to spend more money on advertising. Anyway, so you and I will go pick up packets, and then we'll see what anybody has got to say about it and see if somebody wants us, maybe Jay. What's the name of the guy that was launching the campaign, the anti-Mike Nicholas campaign? JP. I think it's JP. Anyway, that guy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah,
we'll see if he wants to try to complain. But even more important than any of that, because it's all just crap, right? Even more important than that, we have here this morning a commitment. And Mike, you'll like this too. We have a commitment from Dennis Bensour. And Dennis this morning said that he will prepare this pizza for us.
Nice.
The shrimp kadu pika, the shrimp kadu pizza, and that is the one that comes with coconut milk, obviously, and it's got shrimp and tomato sauce and garlic and onions and green beans. Now, if you do onions, Dennis, do me a favor, saute them till they're really, really soft. I don't like crispy white onions. I'll
How
pick them.
about crispy red onions?
I'll pick them out. I'll pick them out. You can put them on Mona's side of the pizza. Jalapenos, yes, and coconut and mozzarella. Dennis is going to make this for us, but he can't bring it until about 9. So can you stick around?
I'll stick around.
All right. So Dennis,
Free of charge.
I appreciate the commitment, and I appreciate your culinary adventurousness. That may be the most important thing that we talk about here this morning. 8:24. We do need to talk about sports, right? All right, so my football pick'ems for week number 9 is the suck, and so I only got 6. But most of that is because I didn't. I neglected to pick a bunch of them. I didn't save my picks, and so I'm running a deficit this morning.
Mike even reminded you to hit save.
I know. I know. I get it.
See how much he listens to me?
What? Who are
I
you?
heard you.
What? Anyway, so that's I'm running a deficit. So I'm looking at week number 10.
But you're not doing bad in the overall standings. Right now we've got, let's see, well, going to the standings, Ming the Merciless still in first place, but only by 3 now because he
must have missed. He must have missed
took it
too.
off week last week, I think. So, but it's Ming the Merciless, and then you are right in there in the midst of a whole bunch of people that are very close to that. You've got Downset What the What, Niners for Life, Duraka, Duhawk 671, and a series of unfortunate events, all at 89. Then it's White Flower Dude, you, the BBLRB Chub Chub, at, you and
Don't
White
say
Flower
Chub
Dude.
Chub. Facebook's going to ban that.
That's true. But you, Nate, and Rico, see, I know who they are.
Not bad.
Tied in at 88. So that's only 4 off the mark. So, and I'm not doing too bad either. So, but yeah, but it was kind of a rough week. The weekly winner for this week was Pass Interference. Pass Interference ID got 11 of the picks right, and then we had Dead Bugs, Steelers 7, Owenator 671, Downset What the What, Big Red Rocket. And Kev's picks.
I think they're gonna ban Big Red Rocket too. I think the Facebook will ban Big Red Rocket.
Yeah, probably will.
Yeah. So the last game from week number 9 that we were concerned about was Dallas and New York, and Dallas commanded that one 37-18 was where they got off.
Yeah,
yesterday.
it wasn't even close, and that's about what I thought the game would turn out to be. So, so that's good. So congratulations to Pass Interference. I will be getting a hold of you via the email that you left on the Yahoo Pick'ems site, and then you respond to that. I'll tell you how to pick up a cool prize. It is.
What do we got?
Red
Lobster?
Red Lobster gift certificate. $10 Red Lobster gift certificate.
Nice. All right. And getting back to the pizza thing, because it's important, Dennis says, okay, I'll try to get in a little bit early. In case it's awful, I'll bring a white pizza too.
Just bring beer.
And so there was actually. It's not Plugola if it's after the fact, but Kazendo was brought by a couple of cases of Blue Moon mango flavor.
Yeah.
One case for me, case for Mike.
I was quite surprised that I got the case, but I like that.
My instructions to Mike were, don't drink them all at once.
You know, I can't.
But it's hard.
I drink 3 of them, and I'm ready to go night-night.
But it's an easy drinking beer. Anyway, so 8:27 in the morning, there might be some other sports that's going on. We'll take a look at the back pages of the Guam Daily Post. Geckos rally against the Royals. The darkness has suspended the game because they're scheduling games late in the afternoon, not remembering that the sun is going down earlier this time of year. So you might need to start the games maybe a half hour earlier these days. A couple of 5Ks that are worth knowing of the 4th annual Salute to Our Veterans 2K 5K is going to take place San Vicente School up in Barragata. Unusual race location, but I'm glad they're doing it. Showtime at 5, go time is going to be 6. Register today at San Vicente at some point. Now, I also got, somebody was asking me, because they think I know.
What do you suppose the route is? Maybe through the village?
San Vicente? Ooh, that's a tricky one. So San Vicente. So you start at San Vicente School. Would you go? Yeah, I want to say it's almost a perfect 3-mile loop if you go through the your loop, the Tota Cañada loop or the Cañada Tota loop. I think that's almost a 3-mile.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's almost a 3-mile run. There is another. I'm not going to be able to get my hands on it, but there's another one that is going to be coming up here soon. It's Catch Santa Claus, basically, and it's going to be like a Jingle Bell run because it's going to be in December and they're using a Christmas theme. So when you sign up for it, make sure that you stop by someplace and get an outfit that will actually make some kind of Jingle Bell noise. That was one of my favorite things about the original Jingle Bell run was when you got your bib, you also got a little Jingle Bell and people could make noise up and down the course.
And don't forget the Donut Dash. That one's coming up on the 30th.
Renee was talking about that. In fact, Kevin was talking about that yesterday as well. There is going to be a Donut Dash. I don't have all of the details.
This one is in Teedson. I'm looking at it on Facebook, and it's on November 30th. In Teedson, start time 6 a.m. And I think with every pit stop, if you eat a couple of donuts, it shaves 30 seconds off your time.
Yeah, but it's going to take 30 seconds to eat a donut.
Yeah.
is the thing, because you're not going to be able to run with it. You got to be able to scarf it down. So here's a piece of recommendation for you: is wet it. Take some water with you. and wet the donut, turn it into a doughy mush, and then stick it in your mouth.
It's more fun when you do that in the form of a whiskey run.
Whiskey run. You know, there is a beer mile that the running club does from time to time. I've never participated in it because I don't like to vomit publicly.
Yeah.
You know, as much as I can possibly make those kinds of arrangements. I think vomiting is something best done in the privacy of your own home, or in the very least, around a coconut tree or something like that. It's just not one of those. And frankly, I've never been one of those fast beer drinking guys. You know, I like to savor the flavor. We were talking a second ago about the mango flavored Blue Moon, and that's a tasty drink, and it's not something that you ought to a la down. So think about that as you're putting your athletic activities together. You got anything else
I don't.
in the world?
That's about it for right now.
So we'll just go ahead and stop talking about it. I do want to leak because we got some serious stuff coming up. Phil Flores from Bank Pacific's going to be on. I've been chasing something for the last bunch of days. The Economic Union is removing countries from a so-called tax haven blacklist. And Guam is on this list. Guam is on a tax haven blacklist, and I'm wondering, because we're America and Asia. We generally follow the same rules as every other place, as the United States of America, where it comes to taxes. So how is it possible that we are a tax haven? And so if there's anybody that's going to know about it, it's going to be somebody like Phil. So we'll be up with him in a little bit. But I did want to, in the last hour, we were talking about Jerry Roberts and Mon and I. Love to see the finish line of the whiskey run. Yeah, Nate, I'm kind of with you. Dennis Bensour says the beer mile is very difficult. Yeah, because you just want to stand there and sit around and enjoy the beer. I'm sorry, digress. Now, we were talking about Happy Meals. They're coming back with a 40th anniversary of the Happy Meal. And they're going to put, 40-year-old food in it. No, I'm kidding. It's not
and it's
gonna be,
still good.
It's still good, yeah, because it's McDonald's. A lot of preservatives. Anyway, so one of the things that they're going to be doing is they're reaching back now and finding some of the favorite toys that you have had in your life as recipients of these Happy Meals. We're talking about Beanie Babies. They're bringing in some Disney characters, changeables, Hello Kitties, and more. And it will spur more collectability with these toys. I'm trying to think of Richard's wife, and she eats Happy Meals because she can't eat a whole burger. I mean, I know a lot of women that do that. They'll go to McDonald's and get a Happy Meal. I'm like, you don't have kids? And they said, well, yeah, but it's all I can eat. Small fries, small burger, and a small drink. But you get the toy. So her desk, she's got toys going back 20 years. Yeah, 20 years. So we were, and Amana said one of the things that she'd like to see is a return of the McDonald's characters in these Happy Meals, and brought up the what did you say, the milkshake guy?
The milkshake guy.
The purple milkshake guy, or Grimace, is the guy's name.
What else is there?
And there's others. We have Ronald McDonald, obviously, and Hamburglar.
Yeah, I remember him.
Birdie the early bird. And the last time I was in Manila, and I was going crazy with a friend trying to remember who that character was. And as it turns out, it was just Birdie. And yeah, because across the B&B, they had, I can't put it up. I might be able to. Well, let me see if I can.
Yeah, they introduced Birdie when they came out with Breakfast, which was sometime in the late 70s, early 80s.
Oh, I see. So that was the character that they used there. I might be able to get this up on the screen so people can see it. All the different McDonald's characters that there have been over time. So at the McDonald's across the B&B in Bonifacio Global City, they had some people running around in costumes, and everybody loved the hamburger because everybody recognized the hamburger. But it was only a handful of people that would go and get the selfie. It's like they got the obligatory selfie with Birdie the early bird just in case it was a famous one, but everybody kind of knew it wasn't. And then you've got the Fry Kids, which I've never seen before.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up with Mayor McCheese and the Officer Big Mac.
They had McDonald's here when you were growing up?
1971 or 2 was when they opened up the McDonald's in Tamuning. And that was the very, very first, and for a long time, it was the largest McDonald's on the planet, is the distinction. And the Agana one was, for many years, the largest drive-through that they had on the planet. So Guam had kind of a distinction. But when I was a little boy, there was no McDonald's. We had A&W Root Beer. The first big franchise that I think came to Guam was Kasaki, when he brought out, and the Jones family, I believe, brought out KFC.
Oh, okay.
KFC got here before McDonald's did.
Yeah, because I don't remember McDonald's when I was growing up. I think my parents were just mean.
No, didn't exist until you were just born. Mayor McCheese is in there, Officer Big Mac, and then there's Professor McDonald's. That I'd never seen that one before.
Now that one I've never seen.
Yeah, that sounds like
that may have been after my time.
After your time?
Yeah.
So which one are you? You're a Mayor McCheese kind of guy?
I remember them being around. I mean, I was well beyond Happy Meals by the time they started serving them. But I remember all these in their advertisements and stuff. Back in the day.
8:34 in the morning, and now that we've gotten that taken care of,
And
so those of you that are wondering
those
about
little collectible cups, I love those. They used to have the coffee cups and then the glasses that would come out.
Yeah, but didn't they find out there was a run of them back in a long time ago that they had lead in the paint?
It's okay.
It's a little lead. It's good for you. 888-825-5888-TALK. What have I got? Somebody wanted to chime in on the subject? I don't see the name. Go ahead.
I can't believe you forgot Snow White.
Oh God, Ken, I did.
Yeah.
We had Snow White and Dairy Queen.
Oh, okay. I've heard that.
Now, over by Citibank, south of Citibank, there used to be a whole bunch of these old J&G trailer buildings. My mom had an office in there for a long time, and over by where Citibank is now, there used to be, and I can't remember, was it a Dairy Queen or was it a Snow White?
No, the Snow White is over there where Kentucky Fried Chicken is now.
Okay.
That was Snow White. Over there by the condos or the temporary buildings was a Dairy Queen.
And did you see what happened to the A&W? They bulldozed the building. The old A&W footprint's going to be completely different soon.
Yeah. You remember the old Sargosi? I'm not Sargosi's. Yeah, I remember.
It was Sargosi's. Sargosi's was in that spot of land where I want to say the used to, and then they turned it into a tire center. My buddy Wade used to work there, and then it became a mobile station.
Yep. So remember the A&W up in Manilo?
Do not remember it being an A&W.
Okay, there was an A&W up there in Manila where the Purple Palace is now, and then it got changed into a pizzeria, which was very popular with the students at GW and USC.
For a little bit, you would think that there was, at the corner of the intersection, I know exactly where you're talking about, there used to be something that looked like an old drive-in there, and it had been a lot of things, and then I want to say it was 10 or 15 years ago, it stopped being anything, and if you peel back the layers of the Tang and the Sakati out there, there's a whole building in there that looks like it should be, and you'd go, how can a business like this not perform well with as many UOG students, GCC students, GW students, and just a whole bunch of people that live back there? You would think that there would be a major going concern or someplace that's flipping burgers like at the old Cool Spot. Hey, listen, 8:37. I know you've got other GovGuami stuff to talk about. We'll get around to doing that. I do have to get Montesilva Tyron into the last newscast of the day here because it's already like 8 minutes late. So here, we want to take the break? All right, we'll take a break and then get to Mono.
Are you ready for some football? The Ray Gibson Show has got your fix every day with the Points NFL Pick'em Contest. Get the latest updates as we check out the past week's performance and break down the upcoming action. Get your game on by calling the hotline at 888-TALK or sound off on Facebook Live at thepoint.gu. League members get a chance to win some awesome weekly prizes with a shot for your choice of a new GTA phone. The NFL Pick'em Contest is brought to you by Current Guam with special thanks to GTA.
Smug Wimp says, when I got here, we had McDonald's in Tamuning, KFC in Tumon, and Pizza Hut where the mall is. And I have vivid memories of the Pizza Hut, but if you go up the road just a little bit more, we got Skateland, and next to Skateland was a place called Magoo's. And you couldn't get it. Magoo's made a good pizza. It's kind of a rubbery cheese pizza, but it was a really good rubbery cheese pizza. Is the way I remember it in my head. 8:38, now I'm thinking about the shrimp kaddu pizza that Dennis Mansour is going to be making for us. 8:38 with news now from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Montesilva Tyron.
Federal reimbursement for the Guam Department of Education school meals program's been increased by 17%, according to a press release from Adelup. The reimbursement is effective July 1st. DOE's been trying to increase the reimbursement rate for its national school lunch program and school breakfast program. This news means that DOE will be better able to maintain the free lunch program at all public schools and serve breakfast as well. Police are on the hunt for a man wanted in connection with a robbery of the Lucky Land game room in Dededo. K-Jack Steve, believed to be armed and dangerous and shouldn't be approached. They released an image of him yesterday. He stands 5'5", weighs 180 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. He has 2 star tattoos on his neck. The hospital's emergency rooms just about bursting at the seams with GMH and GRMC. Not sure if they'll be seeing any relief anytime soon. Since the problem stems from a shortage of nurses, GMH has asked the legislature to give them some flexibility through a law to easily attract stateside nurses. The hospitals continue to take on a number of patients, and through the night even had to divert some of the patients to Naval Hospital. And the legislature's Committee on Environment, Revenue and Tax and Procurement, they'll hold a public hearing that starts at 9 o'clock this morning. The hearing will focus first on some appointments to several boards. It'll also focus on a couple of bills that have been recently introduced. And those are some of your headlines from the Guam Daily Post. I'm Ana Silva Tyron.
So I wanted to help Tello out here, 20 away from 9 o'clock in the morning. Wanted to help Tello out. She's trying to figure out why is it that we need to spend $4,000 a head for up to 100 delegates to go to FestPac, because it doesn't cost $4,000 to get to Hawaii. Round trip ticket to Honolulu, and I'm looking at on the United website. If you were to get on the airplane on the 13th with a comeback flight on the 20th or so, round trip starts in economy at $1,355. If you want to get flexible economy, then it's $1,555. And if you're flying, that's why it's going to be so expensive, because they're going to go business first.
Oh, okay.
If you go business first, it's $3,527, which means that you'll have about $470 left over for the cake factory, the cheesecake factory, and whatever's up and down.
Well, maybe it includes per diem.
Kalakaua or something like that.
Per diem, and
they're going to sleep on the beach, but they're.
I don't know what the accommodations are on the Hawaii, and I know what we did for our delegations when we hosted them.
Low cost, no cost, lots of volunteers.
It was not a luxury hotel for sure.
Well, that's what I'm going to tell everybody. That's why they need $4,000, is because everybody, all 100 members of the Guam delegation to FestPac are going to be flying business first or better, all the way between here and there with the lay-down chairs and all of that. 19 away from 9 o'clock in the morning. The Ray Gibson Show continues. That's iConnect time, by the way. If you're looking for a job, they're looking for you at iConnect. Are you flexible, and are you a go-getter and self-starter and good communicator, and can you have awesome team skills? Well, then give them a ring over at iConnect, or send your resume to hr@iconnectguam.com or visit iconnectguam.com for more information. They are an equal opportunity employer.
Water. It covers nearly 3/4 of our Earth. From vast oceans to millions of rivers and streams, we're all concerned with protecting our world's water. But none is more important than the water you and your family drink and use throughout your home. A Connecticut water treatment system can improve your water so that your family is using the best water in the world. Connecticut, for refreshing ideas on water.
American Water Tech, a passion for improving lives through better water. Portions of the Ray Gibson Show being brought to you by Mescla. And for the month of November, say yes to November. Canadian pizza, house-made pizza. This is going to be pizzas in my head now. House-made pizza dough topped with marinara sauce, 3 cheese blend, Canadian bacon, Spanish chorizo, peppers, onions, cilantro, pesto. Available in Agutnia and in Tumon at the Grand Plaza Hotel. If you'd like reservations, the number's 969-2652.
Live the balanced lifestyle. Take Care Insurance offers proven wellness and fitness programs to encourage individuals and families to live a healthy, balanced lifestyle through preventative care, being active, eating right, relaxing and unwinding, and being socially connected. They have the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs for all ages. Join the movement. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram, or visit takecareasia.com to learn more.
I'm sorry, I get a laugh out loud moment. I was just riffing on the concept of running for senator, and I got a note here from a cop buddy of mine who's going to be retiring soon. He says, "Can I be your security and driver?" Yes, you can. Jesse Ventura had his own show while he was mayor. Big Mac the cop, Captain Crook, Mayor McCheese, Hagutnia Snow White, Uncle O'Grimacy, Rocco's Pizza. Yes, there's another one in Mangilau. And the Tower of Pizza next to Skateland. Wasn't it great to grow up on Guam and be able to eat at some of these places, huh? 8:44 in the morning. Let me take a quick look at what's happening with the traffic gizmo. Usually at this time of day, it's just intersection traffic. I haven't heard of any accidents, but I will tell you that it's still not very pretty over at 10 and 15. 8, 10, and 16 has opened up a little bit more, but it looks like there's a lot of traffic in between that intersection, Happy Mart, and the area of Route 8 behind it. Maybe something cool going on over at the school. Don't know, but if you're headed in that direction, maybe expect some delays. A little bit of intersection traffic up in Dededo. Looks like everything is all calm right now. 8:44. That's right now traffic on the point.
Oh, what's for breakfast at KFC under $3.95, you ask? What's for breakfast at KFC that's different than the other guys, you ask? KFC's chicken wrap, sausage wrap, the Colonel's chicken congee, chicken fried steak, sausage biscuit and gravy, and biscuit sandwiches made with KFC's original fluffy biscuits. All for under $3.95 and all only at KFC. Plus, with waffles and the Colonel's chicken fried rice, we've got something for everyone.
So visit KFC for breakfast today. It's finger licking good.
Might be. I'm looking at some paperwork from Bob Kelly. Bob's my tech regulatory guy, and he sent me an article from the Broadcast Law blog written by David Oxenford, and David Oxenford, obviously a broadcast attorney, and did a story a couple of years ago that has been updated, which looks like there would be some kind of, maybe even a federal prohibition against me being on the air and running at the same time. Says having an on-air employee who runs for political office, whether it is a federal, state, or local office, does give rise for equal opportunities for competing candidates whenever that employee's recognizable voice or picture appears on the air. Even if the personality never mentions his or her candidacy on the air, and even if they appear in what is otherwise an exempt program. I.e. a newscaster who runs for office triggers equal time when he delivers the news, even though a candidate's appearance as a subject of the news program would be exempt. Stations need to take precautions to avoid the potential for owing significant amounts of free time to competing candidates, where those candidates can present any political message if they request it within 7 days of the personality's appearance on the air. Now there might be more to that, but I don't like reading to you on the radio very much. I like to be able to just, shoot the bull from the hip. At any rate, I'll take a look at that, see if there's anything else in there, but I'd sure like to get some kind of a ruling from the guys over at the Election Commission. Now, 847, here's another concept that might be pursuable, is define for me what that campaign period is, and I'll just get guys to do the Ray Gibson show for me. Like Ken LG, you could have a day.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, it would be like you and Chris and some of the other guys, Lemarena, whatever. We'll just get a bunch of pundits in here, and everybody gets a 3-hour show. I don't want to make you do 4 hours. I can do 4. Four is easy for me, but for some people it's kind of a stretch. So you do 3 hours of the Ray Gibson show. We'll still call it that, with substitute hosts until the election.
Hey, anytime you need a substitute, I'm willing.
But it's just, but I don't want to run as a Republican, and I don't want to run as a Democrat. So I mean, there's that measure that you're trying to get passed that would level the playing field and make it so that I didn't have to run in the primary.
Well, unfortunately, if we go through the process on that, it won't be in effect till 2022. So you have plenty of time to get your plans together and your platform and who you're going to have covered. Well, if we get it passed, it'll be 21 part-time. So it'll be 1 month every 6 months. 1 month you'll need a guest host.
Okay.
So that's it. But getting back to your earlier comments, you
got to hurry. I got Phil Flores. Phil Flores is on the other line. His time's way more valuable. He's a banker.
Okay, I can take a hint. I'll call back later.
Yeah, appreciate it. I wanted to talk to Phil about this because it's, in my mind, one of the more interesting topics that are out there that haven't necessarily been covered. And good morning, Phil. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Good morning.
Welcome back from the marriage.
Thank you very much. It was a wonderful, wonderful time.
I'll bet. I saw some pictures floating around in the social medias, and everybody looks so happy. And it's just still a surprise that she is old enough to be married to somebody and got a doctor's and all of that stuff.
No, it's wonderful.
Anyway, so a story that I got from the EU Observer today, but I've seen this in other print in the last week or so. EU finance ministers are set to remove the Central American country of Belize from the bloc's blacklist of tax havens. The decision is to be formally adopted on Friday. The other 8 jurisdictions are expected to remain on the list. They include Fiji, Oman, Samoa, Trinidad and Tobago, Vanuatu, and the 3 U.S. territories of American Samoa, Guam, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Why are we on a tax haven blacklist? Why is that?
It's fake news.
Oh.
It's fake news, and we've been on for. They did take the marshals off. I think earlier this year, but we remain on it. And so then, and they kind of define, one of their definitions of a tax haven is that no taxes are paid. Well, I don't know about that because we're writing quarterly checks all the time. I mean, credit unions don't pay taxes, but everybody else does. I think where the confusion might come, because they think Guam has special rules, and we do in the sense that if you're a resident here, you file locally what would be a U.S. tax return.
Right.
You file it in Guam instead of in Philadelphia or Fresno or something. And so that's the only – I think they get mixed up on that. And if you're going to ask any of those guys on the EU Council, hey, where is Guam? They're going to say Africa. I mean, they don't know. And it's pretty. It's not willful ignorance, but it's really just ignorance of the U.S. territories and what they mean to the United States.
Interesting. So now, does this hold us back from anything, Phil? I mean, is there anybody that wants to do business on Guam, but then heard that we are on the EU's tax haven blacklist?
No, it's not going to. And that's one of the things the EU says. One of the punishments if you don't come under what they want, it's going to hinder your ability to trade. But no, we do a lot of wire transfers and get wire transfers from countries in the EU, and there's no issue.
Interesting. Okay. Now, one other thing that happened, I believe, while you were gone, the Fed reduced the interest rate last week.
It's a third time this year.
Yeah.
And, if you're going to borrow money, it's a great time to borrow money. And it has been, actually, for the last 10 years. And we joke that when rates go back up to 6% is the new 12.
It's going to feel like it, yeah.
Yeah, there's the whole generation of that have come into their adulthood and start borrowing money and, whatever. And they've been able to do it at 3 or 4%, 5%. Whereas 20, 30 years ago, you were doing it at 12 or 14 or 15%. Because I remember when it came down finally to single digits, I said, oh, wow, this is great. But today, yeah, you can, I mean, it's ridiculously low.
No, first house I bought was at 15%.
There you go.
And I remember bristling about that. And you're right. When it got down to double digit, when it got into single digits, I started shopping a refi loan. And the only thing that slowed me down on that was I was worried about what the points were going to be at the end of the closing, because it's still basically a mortgage, right?
It's still a mortgage, but we're doing a lot of refis at Bank Pacific right now because the rates are so low. I mean, you can get that 30-year mortgage somewhere in the 3s right now, but you don't have to get a 30-year mortgage. You can get a 10-year or 15-year mortgage, and your payments go down, and you still pay your loan off earlier.
Yeah,
and it's worth, if you got to pay a point and a half, it's more than worth it because the rates are so low.
How's that helping on the consumer side? Let's say let's say somebody I know is holding on to about $20,000 worth of credit card debt because 2018 was a lousy year. What on the consumer side? What kind of rates could you see on a signature loan?
We just finished a promo for our 65th anniversary. They were 4.65.
Huh?
More than likely, we're going to come out with something. Oh, here I am telling my competitors. But more than likely, we're going to come out with something for Christmas, and it should be right around in there. And so you can take that 18% credit card debt and pay refi at 4.5%, 5%, 6%, something like that, and you'll save a lot of money. But the thing is, don't run up credit card debt in the first place because it's just so expensive.
No, that's a fact. Well, yeah, but you know the family and you know what kind of holiday season I got coming in, right? So it's going to be my daughter's birthday's coming up, Mana's birthday's coming up, Shelly's birthday's coming up, Dave's birthday's coming up, and Jesus's birthday is coming up, and that's a whole lot of spend at the department stores and the malls. So I gotta get all prepped up for that. Speaking of business, how is business these days? Banking business for sure, but what's your view on a general economy here on Guam? What's it feel like in this last quarter?
I think it's good. Our businesses are in various industries on Guam. All of them are, knock on wood, are doing okay. They can always do better, but that's why we go to work the next day. But I think the economy is doing well. We're not seeing at the bank. We're not seeing a lot of delinquencies, which is a really good sign. And auto sales are down. They have been for a couple of years. Sometimes people think that's a leading indicator for something going wrong with the economy, but the fact of the matter is, you buy a Nissan 2019, it's a better car than you got in 2009, and you're going to hang on to it for a long time. So I think the auto industry is put pressure on itself because they make such good cars now. I like, when we talked about autonomous cars,
yeah.
I don't want an autonomous car. I like to drive a car.
Well, I've seen your car. It's a nice ride.
It's a great ride, yeah. And to think that I'm going to sit in the back seat.
Oh, well, I got to tell you, I had the opportunity over the weekend. I'm not sure if you caught it, but the Nissan attempted and achieved a world record for Guam. It was 300 some odd cars, Nissans in a row, and they let me drive. If they had talked to you, you would have talked them out of letting me behind the wheel of this car. But they let me drive a 50th anniversary Z, and I got to tell you, I love that ride.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, because somebody here at the bank has one of those. It's a beautiful car. So, I saw that, and I was coming into the office because I had to get something, and I saw the big caravan, and so I pulled over. I tried to go the wrong way, the one way, but I got stopped. So I got out and walked up there, talked to Van for a little bit, said, congratulations. I know Cosendo put a lot of work into it. I think it was just a fun deal.
Yeah.
Unless you were at the green light as it was still going through.
Well, it's 300 cars. The only thing is a little bit of time motion because they had to videotape everybody and get license plate numbers at the end of it. But it was all fun and games and things like that. Hey, look, I appreciate your notes here on the tax haven blacklist, and we'll put that down as fake news. And near as I can tell, near as you tell me, this isn't hampering anybody from deciding to come and do business and invest on Guam. I'm glad we're still seeing more of that.
We are.
Gotcha. Well, it's always fun talking with you. Let's get together soon. I'm gonna have a beer and barbecue summit. It's Ray Gibson and Tony Babauta's beer and barbecue summit. You want to come?
I'll be there.
Good man. All right, I'll talk to you pretty soon. That's Phil Flores from Bank Pacific. As we say, banking on the Pacific for 65 years. And it's kind of always nice to, every once in a while, get him on the radio and just talk about stuff and what's going on out there. We get the leading question out of the way, but it's always nice to hear from a banker's perspective how the economy is doing. Now, I know what you're going to say. Ray, he's a banker. Of course he's going to say business is going good because he's a banker and he draws a banker's paycheck. So yeah, his economy is doing good. What about all the rest of us? Think about that. There are still places that you go where you have to wait in line to get served. There are still places that where you go where you're running out of parking. The business is so good they had to open up another Payless and a bigger one at that up in Mongmong Totomaiti. And I'm of the habit now. Because it's on my way home, depending on which road I take. I'm of the habit, if I'm on Route 8, I'll just pull into the parking lot, and if I can find parking, then I go in. I mean, if there's no parking, I'll just go back on Route 8 and then head to home. But if I can find someplace to park, then yeah, I'll go inside and buy a loaf of bread or dog food or something like that.
Nice.
I'm really enjoying the place. Anyway, it is 8:57 and change. Not enough time to really spin up any other big deals here today, other than maybe we'll take a quick look at the legislative agenda and see what's going on. Earl Garrido is going to go in a public hearing on Earl to serve as a member of the Guam Board of Equalization. Doris Flores-Brooks, who used to be the public auditor around here, has been asked to serve as a member, CPA representative of the Public Utilities Commission. Public Utilities Commission, of course, just signed off on the application for a new power generation system. That has just been signed off as by the actual players, KEPCO and the Guam Power Authority. So it looks like a go show, despite the fact that there might be some over at the Department of Public Works that are very, very worried about preserving our pristine roadways here on Guam. I know it's a beautiful blacktop ribbon that stretches from all the way into the reaches of the port facility down there, and then all the way up to Guam Regional Medical City, where we're going to build a new power plant. And they say, but look at the road. You're going to hurt the road. You're going to damage the road. No, I promise, we're not going to break any potholes. Any of the steel plates that you've got up and down Marine Corps Drive will be there after we move bits and pieces of the heavy equipment and don't all the little zaff parts of the road where you can see the base course. Never mind the friction course because it went away, but if you can see the base course, don't worry about that. Well, you know what? Here's another piece of decent information. It is possible that with as many wheels and as many axles and as much weight as they're putting on the road, it might actually smooth over some of those ripples that we're used to driving on, huh? So I don't know that I'd spend too much time worrying about the roadway. You need to worry about what's going on around the nation and the world. Fox News Live is coming up. They'll tell you all of those stories. On the other side of that is just me and Mike maybe, and we'll see if we can kill another hour of talk radio right here. KUSG, I got you. This is The Point.
Questions. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Transcripts of testimony for two of the witnesses in the impeachment inquiry have been released, and one has a revision which is sparking debate. Fox's Jared Halpern live on Capitol Hill.
The U.S. ambassador to the European Union, Gordon Sondland, amended his testimony from last month, adding a statement that describes a conversation he had with an advisor to Ukraine's president tying U.S. military aid to a public anti-corruption statement. A transcript of Sondland's testimony from last month was released by House Democrats, along with the testimony of former Ukrainian envoy Kurt Volker. Volker dismissed a quid pro quo, but said President Trump's personal attorney Rudy Giuliani was interested in investigations of an energy company that employed former Vice President Joe Biden's son and the 2016 election. Lisa.
Jared, reaction to the transcript released from the administration. Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham issuing a statement reading in part, both transcripts released today show there is even less evidence for what she called this illegitimate impeachment sham. White House acting senior advisor Mick Mulvaney was requested to appear before the committees Friday, but the White House issuing a statement reading past Democrat and Republican administrations would not be inclined to permit senior advisors to the president to participate in such a, quote, ridiculous partisan illegitimate proceeding, and neither is this one. President Trump and the president of Mexico have spoken by phone after 9 people were killed near the U.S.-Mexico border, reportedly by a Mexican drug cartel. The members of a religious community were citizens of both the U.S. and Mexico.
The victims include Christina and Dwana Langford, found in separate locations along with 2 children shot to death. And then about 10 miles away, Ronita LeBaron and her 8-month-old twins dead inside their Tahoe, along with a son and daughter ages 9 and 11.
Fox's William Lajeunesse, America's listening. Fox News.
Hey, do you know what time the bank closes? I need to deposit my check.
You know you can do that from your phone.
I can?
With Bank of Guam's mobile app, it's easy. Just endorse the back and snap a pic to deposit it into your account. You can do this from anywhere, anytime, which means no rushing to catch the bank and no lines.
With Bank of Guam's mobile app and online banking, we're always open. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
When's the last time you looked at your homeowner's insurance?
An easily overlooked part of covering our home is what's inside of it. Over time, we buy things we don't want to lose, but don't update our contents coverage. The smart thing to do is get the answers and level up our insurance to make sure we're totally protected.
That's the Insurance Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today by calling Guahan Insurance Services at 475-1162 or visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center in Tamuning.
The synagogue in Pueblo, Colorado, that was the target of a failed bomb plot, plans to add surveillance cameras to enhance its security. As we're learning more about the suspect in the planned attack, 27-year-old Richard Holzer.
According to the affidavit, Holzer told 3 undercover agents he wanted to bomb the Temple Emmanuel and poison the congregants. In one exchange, Holzer told an agent, quote, "I'm getting ready for Rahowa," meaning a racial holy war. The U.S. Attorney in Denver, Jason Dunn, says it all came to an end this past Friday when Holzer met with the undercover agents in a hotel, believing he would receive pipe bombs for the attack.
According to the affidavit, Mr. Holzer allegedly planned to detonate the explosive several hours later in the early morning hours of Saturday.
Temple Emmanuel's congregation president Michael Atlas Acuna says they will not live in fear. In Denver, Alicia Acuna, Fox News.
Police in Los Angeles say they have recovered hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stolen art.
The LAPD says they got a call from someone who said they'd found a bunch of art in a storage facility belonging to a relative who's been deceased for a few years now. Police say this person checked a law enforcement database and found out the prints inside the storage facility were stolen. The art was by Scottish abstract expressionist Benjamin Creme, who was also known for his interest in UFOs as well as his belief in who the Messiah is. The LAPD released a statement about the art and displayed pictures of some of the prints, but would not elaborate on who the prints were stolen from. Benjamin Creme died in 2016. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Over $5.7 million was raised last night at the Stand Up for Heroes fundraiser in New York City, which benefits injured veterans and their families. Sheryl Crow and Bruce Springsteen were joined by a number of comedians, including Jon Stewart and John Oliver. The concert was first held in 2007 and sponsored in part by the Bob Woodruff Foundation. The reporter was nearly killed in 2006 while embedded with troops in Iraq. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Go green, go hybrid, go to Nanbo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nanbo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nanbo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for details. Portions of the program brought to you by American President Lines. That's a global presence and a local home.
Rediscover Talk Radio here. Your FM News Talk Superstation. This is The Point.
It's called Superstation because we're on the air and everywhere. So, actual radio 93.3, and then you can find us, obviously, many of you have on Facebook Live. Nice to be here on your social media. YouTube Live, and there you can interact in both locations, but if you want to interact with me on YouTube, don't expect a response because I don't spend any time there reading up on any of that. Probably shouldn't tell people that. I just write all kinds of inflammatory stuff on that site. But you can also watch the program on the actual World Wide Web. It's thepoint.gu out there, and there's somebody. And if you just want to check out a stream, you can go to tunein.com. And for those of you that have Alexa devices or Google devices, Google Home devices, just send them to TuneIn. Say play KUSG on TuneIn, and eventually something will happen. Some noise will come out of your active speaker systems. 888-825-888-TALK is the phone number. You want to jump on board. Ken, now's a good time to call if you wanted to riff on a couple of topics. 988-5874. If you've got some interesting things that you'd like to send to me. Now this was making the rounds. I'm going to play a couple of things on the Facebook, and the audio has been cleared on the social media here. This made the rounds a few days ago when there were literally at any given moment about 3,000 men and women of the U.S. Armed Forces, in particular the Navy and the Marines, all over the island. And I'm glad that they came out here. Glad they had a good time. And a question that was asked of me last night, none of those guys got in trouble, huh? Did you see anything in the news that said that there were a whole bunch of guys in uniform or out of uniform or messing around in Tumon getting into all kinds of trouble? My, how times have changed. There was a once upon a time, there would be guys getting picked up, stuck in a paddy wagon somewhere because it was Tuesday. But as it turns out, I guess we got a good batch that came through here, and hope they had a positive impact. I hope Guam made some new friends. I hope many of them find their way back here. But this, as I said, was making the rounds around social media at the time. As a guy doing a fake newscast in Chamorro or Chamorroese.
Pues in other news, ladies, get down to Tumon this weekend. The ship is in. Find yourself a man and say ID. I mean, I do. Tell loose, lock up your chicks.
I do. I'm sorry, that played around in my head a couple of times in the last couple of days. And then somebody sent me this, and this is a neat feature, a neat little TikTok video, and I don't know whether it's one of those things where she's doing this all the time. Is talking about Dependent 101. Dependent 101, or how to get yourself that man, and what to look for if you'd like to become some kind of a military dependent.
Good afternoon, class, and welcome to Dependent 101, where I teach you how to get those TRICARE benefits. I know some of you
were probably in Mr. Kennedy's millennial girlfriend or boyfriend class. We don't discriminate in here. However, if you are, you need to go drop that class immediately. You are wasting money. We don't deal with failures. You will be married by Monday. I don't have a lot of time to waste, so let's get going. Some of you are making some dire mistakes out in these streets. It is not that hard to hunt these guys down. You just got to look at their stripes. The more stripes they have, the more wives they've had, which means they are less likely to make the same mistake again. It is not worth your time. They may have the money, but you're not going to get the honey. You always need to look for mosquito wings. Mosquito wings get diamond rings, guys. Live by that. Die by that. Remember that, because it's going to be on the test tomorrow. All right, that's all for today. Any questions? No? All right, cool. Well, that's it then. See you tomorrow. Class dismissed.
There you go. The mosquito wings get diamond rings. That's something else. But here's the thing: is I'm wondering how much truth there is to something like that. And for some of the single guys out there, wondering what the female analog is going to be. Is it the same thing? Can you find a female airman and make that kind of same proposal? Will that get you the diamond ring? 10 after 9 o'clock in the morning, 888-825-5888. Keep them coming. Keep them coming to the WhatsApp. 988-5874 is that number. And I think I got the governor back on the line. Ken LG, good morning, buddy.
You know, that's a tough act to follow.
I know it is. There's just crazy creativity. If you're not on, a lot of, if your parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles listening to the broadcast right now, you're going, TikTok, that's just for kids. Clearly, it isn't. Go and check out TikTok and see some of the cool things that people are doing with those little short bursts of creativity. There's some really outstanding stuff that you'll find on TikTok. Anyway, what were we going to talk about last hour before I got sidetracked with Hill?
I just wanted to mention one other restaurant that, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, old timers will remember. Ethel and Willie's. How can we forget Ethel and Willie's in East Agania?
I think that was already gone by the time I was of age.
It was a little small hole in the wall. They had 5 two-chair seats. So one side of the wall was a counter that had 5 stools. The other wall had 3 tables on one side, 2 tables on the other, and the door. Mm-hmm. And if you weren't there by 11:30, you had to stand in line outside.
Well, there was a place out.
Was that good?
There was a place out in Anigua, and if I close my eyes, I'll be able to picture driving up to it, called Eat Tomorrow. And it was about the same thing. And if I want to say Friday was Ham Hocks and Beans Day, and the way it worked in there is you went in, if you went in with somebody else, and the place would be jam packed. And if you went somebody else, and there was a seat that already had 2 people on it, but there were 4 chairs, you got to sit with them. You might not know them from Adam, but that was the way the old lady set it up. You walk in there, and she'd kind of look at 2 over here. I got 2 empty seats over at that table, and you'd go and sit down with somebody, and you'd make friends. Was the thing, and you did not attempt to go there. I want to say on Fridays on Ham Hocks and Beans days, because that one was the one. If you didn't get there by 11:30, yeah, you were standing in line, and if they finally got around to you, chances were pretty good they'd be out of that. And the other thing that stands out in my head is no 2 pieces of silverware were the same. I don't know where they got all their knives and the forks, but none of them matched. None of the tableware matched. The cups and plates, they all looked like they came out of a big kind of garage sale.
Yeah. The restauranting has changed a lot since then.
Oh, God.
But I wanted to go back to boring government of Guam stuff.
That's all right. I just one more piece of nostalgia. It was the last time I saw MC Cruz alive. He was having lunch over at Eddie Chamoy. It was a great man and a great place. And I wish there were more police officers like him on the streets today.
Well, as we brought up MC Cruz, I have to share an MC Cruz story.
Tell me your Mariano bit.
I was going for my motorcycle's license, and back in the day, it was over there where that coffee place is now that used to be the inspection station in East Agania.
Oh, I know it. Yeah.
Barn. And you would go there, and the first thing you had to do is you had to either have somebody ride your bike there or you brought it in a truck, because if you were there with a bike and no other, he would question you, how'd this bike get here?
Yep.
And if you rode it there, he'd give you a ticket for driving without a license. And then you had to come back 30 days later to take the test. So I brought my bike down in the back of a pickup truck because I've heard the stories. And then he he came out and he looked at the cones, and the cones were like 20 feet apart, and he cut them down to 10 feet, and then he got on that big Harley of his.
Oh, the Electric Glide, yeah.
The Electric Glide, and he did the maneuvering test on the Electric Glide, and then when he got to the end, you had to be able to balance for 10 seconds with both feet on the pegs. And so he whips through this case very fast on the Electric Glide, and when he gets to the end, he stops and he stands there for about 15, 20 seconds. And then he gets off his bike and he walks over to a bunch of us with our little, Honda 100s, our Honda 90s, our Yamaha 125s. And he walks over and looks at us. He says, if I can do that on that, you had no trouble doing it on these. I mean, we're just like,
Amazing, right? An amazing, terrific guy. There's some of people of a certain age, right around my age group, maybe a couple of years older, will recall when he was the lead bouncer and doorman at the Top of the Reef in Tumon. And Top of the Reef, like many of the other clubs, had a real bouncing crowd up there, and they would get packed up from time to time. And he was the guy that controlled the door. And if you were a pretty girl, you got in. If you were an ugly boy like me, Raymond, just wait. And wait a second, Raymond, are you old enough to get in here? Does your dad know that you're here? Never mind. Going to go somewhere else. Go check out another bar. 9:15 in the morning. But thanks for the trip down memory lane. So much fun and so many people online talking about those kinds of things. Pam wants to know about Harriet's, and I don't remember Harriet's. Pam also bringing up Kenny's Cafe. Kenny's in the back road. And I know the family is still in the business, but that's where you went for fried shrimp, remember?
Fried shrimp, onion rings, chopped steak, fried shrimp, fried chicken. I just recited their entire menu.
There you go. Casa de Mexico. Smug talking about Casa de Mexico, which is now Caves, I think.
Oh, Casa de Mexico, it was unbelievable. But before that, there was another one called Casa de Sol, which was back there behind the former Bank of Hawaii in Tamuni, back there in the Butler building. I think it's a restaurant supply place now. That was a great place, family style. He had 3 rows of picnic tables. You came, and as the place filled up, you made new friends.
Wonder where that kind of I don't know, just outright friendliness is anymore these days.
Well, it's our restaurant climate has changed now, but I caught earlier when you were talking about the trip for the gold-plated nose pickers to Hawaii for $4,000 a head. Don't forget that what you're talking about is a bill to appropriate an additional $400,000 because they already have $400,000 from the community donation from GRMC. This is an appropriation of an additional $400,000.
I got to check on it. I'm not disagreeing. I think I got to check on it. I think they took it, put it in another fund, and now they're going to appropriate it for that particular purpose. I got a feeling that after the budget numbers come in, after they start outlining who is going and why we need to spend $400,000, I got a feeling that some of and we'll know who the smart ones are, the right-minded people over at the legislature will look at it and say, no, we really can't. No, we really can't do this. We got to send the money to GMH or someplace like that. Annette Ada Vasquez. Oh, we're doing this again. Ponderosa and Swanson's. Actually, I think it was Swenson's down in the Gagne area. Smug talking about the first and last time I had escargot was at the Salzburg Chalet. I remember vividly that place.
Back in memory. Oh, yeah. My first escargot took me 10 minutes to get it past my teeth. The other 9 didn't have a chance. The other 9 were gone in 30 seconds at Salzburg Chalet. And then, as long as we're going down that road, remember Popo's Steakhouse?
Somebody brought that up earlier, up in Dedado, and I don't remember it.
Oh, no, it was in Tamuni, right next to the ITC building. Remember that vacant 2-story building that was just knocked down?
Tanaka building. That's a Tanaka building.
Yeah, I was in the second floor of there. That was where I had my first filet mignon. I remember it well. It was wrapped in bacon, covered with a peppercorn sauce.
Fjord Smorgasborg up in Sinahania.
Yeah, that was funny. The smorgasbord, that had the cleanest parking lot ever because people periodically would bomb it with soap bubbles, and they had that they had a moat around it with a waterfall. But every other month, it was filled with shark repellent of different color. And you know, in all the 3 years it was open, I never once saw a shark in that moat.
It must have been. It must have worked out. 9:19 in the morning. It eventually became the Crow's Nest, which was and a great place to if you wanted to get seen at lunchtime making deals, that was the place to go. 9:19 in the morning. So I'm looking over a couple of things on the table of contents here, and one of them I suppose you might be able to riff on because it involves the Guam Memorial Hospital. The Guam Daily Post reporting that both GMH and GRMC have ERs that are overflowing, and so I'll go back a few years when we had the conversations about hospitals here on Guam and the number of people that live here versus the number of hospital beds that are available for them. And everybody said, well, don't worry about it. Once they open up Guam Regional Medical City, that will close the gap. And they looked at the numbers and they got them wrong. It never did close the gap. The population is increasing and we need more hospital beds and more hospital professionals more than ever. So it isn't just a question of GRMC and GMH and even Navy Hospital. We just need more hospital beds in this town to meet the requirements.
Well, actually, you're talking about the wrong problem. You see, your focus was on the emergency room, and that's where it rightly should be. In 2017, when they were trying to borrow $425 million to rebuild Guam Memorial, it came out that the emergency room had over 17,000 visits compared to 5,300 for outpatient services. And that goes back to the fact that we do not have adequate health coverage for our people, which is something I've been fighting for years, trying to get adequate health coverage for our people, because people who have insurance, the deductibles are so high. People are telling me that their deductibles are now $2,500. You know, you could spend $2,000 or $3,000 before you ever get $1 of coverage under the current government and Guam plans. And so what happens is people go to the emergency rooms because they can get in there right away. Whereas if I had pneumonia, like somebody we all know, you know, and I went to the doctor's office, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to look up my plan. And if I have one, they're going to see how much of the deductible has been met. Let's say I haven't met any of the deductible. I'm going to have to pay the entire doctor visit up front before I see the doctor. So since I don't have the $250 for the upfront visit to the doctor, I wait till I'm sicker and then I go to the emergency room. That's why our emergency rooms are flooded, because people can't go see a doctor. When I got attacked by a dog, it wasn't an attack. I mean, I tried to break up a dog fight, my dogs, and ripped my index finger to the bone. At the time I had medical insurance.
Yeah, I was going to say you need to stay away from that kind of thing because I know more than one or two people that have suffered some serious wounds in an attempt to break up a couple of dogs.
Yeah, so I learned I'm smarter now, but back then I was an idiot. And so it happened on a Sunday afternoon. And when you're looking at the bone of your finger, you don't think deductible. So I went to the emergency room, but I had coverage. They gave me the bill. It was $1,107.85. All I did is sit there for 6 hours. He washed the cut out with saline solution, put Benedictine on it, gave me a tetanus shot, and wrapped it up and told me, I said, well, what about stitches? He says, no, we need to leave it open so it can drain and heal from the inside out. Because if we put stitches, you know, the infection could develop and spread. 6 hours for a 5 coverage are using the emergency room as their primary care physician.
Which we've talked about that in the past as well. For those of you paying attention, you can go on the data.worldbank.org website where they've got a number of different features and what would be the current standard conventional thinking in terms of beds and available beds per 1,000 people. And that at one point the number was about 3.6. I just rounded it down to 3. And at three beds, hospital beds per 1,000 people, Guam in total should have about 495 hospital beds.
Well, we also have another problem with our hospitals too. That's a very important statistic that you talked about.
Yep.
But the other important statistic is because we have such an underinsured and undercovered population that one hospital couldn't survive, I don't understand how the geniuses behind GRMC thought we'll build a hospital with much higher cost and we'll go after the same population. And so now we see GRMC has had their share of financial challenges dealing with this market as well, but our politicians continue to ignore any effort or attempt whatsoever to create a more stable financially healthcare system. And that's something that could be easily done.
Because it's easier to do presentations, and it's easier to go to the UN, and it's easier to line up some money and go to FestPac. That's why.
Well, you got a point there. I can't argue with that. If I go to the UN, I can go eat at Nobu. I can go to Nobu. It's just practically across the street and have the taxpayers pay for it.
9:25.
Do it that way.
Always fun talking with you, Ken. You have a fantastic morning.
You too.
I promise. 888-255-8888-TALK. Closing in on 9:25 in the morning, and I haven't done. You know what? I haven't done it. It feels like I haven't done it in a long time. When's the last time I did a riff on the fascinating world of crime on Guam? Have I done something like that lately? It's just
it's been at least a day or two.
Yeah, well, the stories are all the same basically. Guy gets in trouble, guy goes before the judge, that slaps him on the wrist, and they get out and told not to commit those crimes any further. November 4th, about 2:15, Guam police officers saw a red car standing parked on the travel portion of the E.T. Calvo Road in Tamuning. Officers initiated a traffic pullover by activating their lights and sirens. However, the vehicle took off, ran a stop sign, nearly colliding with a vehicle in cross traffic, which had the right of way. The vehicle eventually complied and pulled over. Officers then met with Steve Aldrich Jr., who stated that he did not have his driver's license and was in a defensive and uncooperative state, apparently furious after having been pulled over. Officers noted a strong odor of intoxicating beverage emitting from Mr. Aldrich's breath and person, and that his eyes were bloodshot and watery. 2:15 in the morning. Might have been a hard night of drinking. He was asked to exit the vehicle, but he was being belligerent and uncooperative and combative. Officers had to employ a taser to gain compliance. And even after that, Aldrich refused to comply and resisted being placed in hand restraints. Officers noted 4 open bottles of Budweiser beer in the vehicle, and he stated, "I'm not drunk. I only drank a 6-pack." And I love this. "It's okay. Take me in. You're not real cops. My last DUI was in 2009. They're just going to let me go again." You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to remain silent. Apparently, some people just don't have the ability to remain silent. The officer spoke to the front seat passenger of the car named Johnstone, who stated that it was Steve who was drinking in the vehicle, and he passed the beer to the back seat when they heard the sirens. Officers noted that Johnstone did not have any odor of intoxicating beverage coming from him. Officers asked him why he did not prevent Aldrich from driving and drinking and driving. And said, "My brother-in-law does what he wants."
Why would you even get in a car with the dude, though? If you're sober and of sound mind and you know this cat isn't, I'm not getting in the car with him. Now, if I'd had a few too, I might have John, had poor judgment and gone ahead. But come on.
He says, "You guys are just wasting your time." And then he used a word that rhymes with maggots. They're just going to release me. So uncooperative, combative, gave the guys a hard time. He made them tase him, and then he calls him the slur. You maggots, spelled with F. You're just going to release me.
This is really the prevailing
in
thought.
In olden days, I got a feeling he would have fallen up a set of stairs.
Probably, yeah. This is the prevailing thought, and this is why we keep seeing the same names in the report every single time. It's because they all know they're going to go in, they're going to spend 2 or 3 days, and then they're going to go back out, and they may be on release until they get another court date. But hey, man, that's cool because I'm out now. I can go get my meth, get drunk, do whatever I want.
Yeah, I want to drink with this guy. I'm wondering if I maybe already have. I just don't know. I'm lousy with last names. It's possible that we probably pulled a couple of drinks together at some point. Now, the interesting thing about this is, though you're right, there was a sober-ish passenger that was in the car, and should something have happened to him is an interesting question. In Japan, if you get pulled over on a DUI and you are arrested, everybody in the car is arrested as well.
Wow.
Because, they're exercising almost a conspiracy here.
Yeah, like aiding and abetting.
Yeah, aiding and abetting. Everybody should have known that you shouldn't have gotten in the car with him because he's drunk, and if he's drunk and driving, you're just as stupid for letting him drunk drive you around, so you must be drunk as well. So everybody gets cited in this case in places like Japan.
That's because they're serious about crime.
They must be very, very serious about something like that. Interesting to see this particular story. There might be a couple of others in there. Sad thing Nate says is he's probably right. Smug says bad judgment is not isolated to intoxication. Well, yeah. That's how you rack up experience in the world, though, isn't it? If it wasn't for the occasional exercise of bad judgment.
Yeah, well, so you do it while you're boozing. That way, when you aren't boozing, you can do it properly. Just saying.
I know, but you know what? The thing is, it's got me thinking, because one of the things that we've been talking about all morning long, just because it's personally entertaining, is the idea that I would run for office.
Which sounds like a completely drunk decision.
It does, right? That's one of those things. I'd need a bunch of shots of liquid courage.
When you walked out a while ago, I checked to see if you brought a masked. I didn't check that one.
So here's the thing, though. Just as I pointed out a couple of times, there is at least one sitting member of the Republican Party at the legislature who says, "Oh God, I hope, I pray that you're being serious and that this is something that is actually going to happen. I will vote for you. I will support you, and thank you very much. I appreciate that." But the same way that there might be some people that would come out of the woodworks and go, "Absolutely, I support you. I believe in you 100%." I'll bet you money that there are already guys in the other party, and maybe even the Republican Party, that are already digging up dirt. They're already digging. They're already going through my Facebook post. They're already going through my what is it? What's the other one? Twitter posts and stuff like that, and asking, "Hey, what do you know about Ray? What can you tell me about? You went to high school with Ray. What was he like? You went to college with Ray. What was he like? What was Ray like in the '80s?" And so that's why I'm just saying. There's all kinds of opportunities. Did you hear that story about what Ray did over when they used to have the Dallas Club?
Oh, please. Regale us.
Is the incident in 1987. Yeah. Whatever you've heard, I've done it, and probably worse. So, and that would be the campaign slogan. But it's just fun to, because there's all those people out there. You would be surprised. You would be surprised at the amount of dirt that can get dug up on people on Guam, and people that are more than happy to do it. And that reminds me, before I even start thinking about maybe making a thing in office, I've got to go and replace all of my passwords, because there are people that are paid to do this out of the Philippines. It came up in the last gubernatorial election that there were people out there doing black ops and that were hacking into phone systems. And at least one campaign, my name did come up. It's 9:32 in the morning. That's iConnect time. What are we doing at iConnect? Oh, they're hiring. They're looking for people. They got the corporate sales division over at iConnect, and they're looking for you to help fill some chairs. If you're self-motivated, energetic, and outgoing, iConnect is looking for you. Sales experience, that's a plus. Excellent communication skills. Can you work on a team? Well, good for you. Send your resume to hr@iconnectguam.com or visit iconnectguam.com for information. They are an equal opportunity employer.
Lights, camera, fajita! Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors, featuring the new all-star cast, the grilled stuffed avocado with southwestern shrimp topped with Santa Fe sauce, cilantro, limes, and queso fresco. Or the Monterey chicken, juicy chicken breast topped with barbecue sauce, mixed cheese, bacon, diced tomatoes, and chopped green onion, all served on a sizzling skillet with warm flour tortillas. Experience bold, sizzling fajita limited-time flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here. Located at the Tumon Sands Plaza, 2nd floor.
The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts of Guam Training every morning on The Ray Gibson Show.
Since I suffered through years as a reluctant, scared puppy of a networker, I'm always interested in new ideas on how to meet up with people you don't know and get a conversation going. I bumped into some advice on that recently, and I'm going to share.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point at guamtraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts. Brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank on 93.3 The Point.
I don't. I'm at one of those strange places in the program here. I'm not sure where I want to go because it's incredible. It's a beautiful thing, guys. Talk radio, and it's criticized by somebody who says, you're missing a bunch of stuff here. You didn't talk about the big MMA fight. You didn't talk about Barack Obama and his nonsense about criticizing the woke nation or whatever it was. And I'm going, and it's not. Those are acts of omission, not commission. It's not as though I wanted to. It's just that there's so much out there in the world of sports and culture and pop culture, television, movies, and things like that. And oftentimes, I get distracted by all of that. I mean, I've got literally tons of technology in front of me that allows me to keep an eye on what's going on around the world. And there's just so much that even in the space of a 4-hour program. 4-hour program. In the space of a 4-hour program, I can't fit it all in. And then there's the other distracting things. Now, but probably shouldn't have turned on the WhatsApp feature because now that I've got WhatsApp, I've got an almost continuous drip feed of stuff from our listeners and viewers from around the planet, including from Vancouver, Washington, Keena McCausland, who is posted up on my WhatsApp here. This is what they're having for Thanksgiving. It's a turkey.
Yeah.
But it's a Popeyes fully cooked Cajun-style turkey. Doesn't that look good?
It sounds good, yeah.
There it is. Look at it. I like Popeyes. And if you're going on, that's the rule over at the house, is if anybody's going in either direction to either one of the big bases out there, that you need to stop by Popeyes and bring me back about 18 pieces of that chicken goodness. Now, that's not to say that I don't like or have issues with the other chicken places that we've got here on Guam. I've got a KFC right up the street from the house. Ate there the other night and absolutely loved it. But the Popeyes chicken, that's a rare treat for Gibson. Can you imagine a Popeyes turkey? And I cannot. I cannot is the answer. So I don't know about that. And I'd love for something like that to show up in my refrigerator, my freezer, one of these days. Because I like turkey and I like Popeye seasoning, and I don't see a planet where that could not work. And if you maybe when we're all done with the planning for the Ray Gibson and Tony Babauta Beer and Barbecue Summit, maybe somebody can fly something like that in or prepare for us a Cajun-style turkey. Just a thought. Just something that popped into my head. 888-825-888-TALK is the telephone number. Who's that? Joshy's on the line. Got Josh Tykenko from the Guam Visitors Bureau. Hey, Joshy, how you doing, buddy?
Hafaday, good morning, Ray.
It was good seeing you the other night.
Oh, man, it was really good to see you. It's been a while.
And I will publicly say that. I, Ray Gibson, enjoyed spending time with Josh Tykenko just the other night, and I'm not afraid to say that out loud in public, and I'm not going to be one of those anonymous letter writers. What the heck's that all about?
Our board is looking into it, and
I'd ignore it.
And it's a personnel matter, and they're going to be looking into it.
Yeah, let them look at it. I'd ignore it. You guys got more important things to do. If somebody is not willing to sign their name to their criticism of the management style, and in fact is looking for an opportunity to get in with it with the board, and but without the management, I'm sorry. That's it rhymes with riach. Right? Real Richard move, if you know what I mean. Anyway, 9:38 in the morning. So you sent me an invitation to a press conference tomorrow for the Shop Guam E-Festival.
Yep, it's that time of year again. I can't believe it. It's November. We're almost at the end of 2019, and
oh my God.
Shop Guam E-Festival is back, and it's in its 8th year. I can't believe that is also in its 8th year too. I remember when we were working together, and I had to cover the first Shop Guam Festival, and it was and it grew since then. Just looking at some of the past history of that, they only started with like 10 merchants, and now I guess altogether for all the different years, there's been like 962 local merchants that have participated in this. and it's just continued to grow, especially with the introduction of its app that was introduced a few years ago.
Yeah, I know. I tried to buy it. Honestly, that's a fact. I actually tried to buy it because I wasn't sure that Nate and GVB were going to be using it for much longer. I thought they were just going to use it as kind of a one-off, and I said, no, I'll buy that and see if I could do some marketing of it. But as it turns out, as soon as somebody made the noise about buying the app and the capabilities of the app, they said, no, you know what? We'll keep it. We'll go ahead and keep it, and they kept using the app. So what's going to be different about it this year? You know, and I might still have the app on my phone from last year. What will it be doing this year? How are you guys going to make it that much more, I don't know, fun to use?
Yeah, well, this year the team got together and they really are pushing for more of a experience-driven Shop Guam E-Festival. So that's where we're going out into different villages, more so in line with Tourism 2020, taking tourism outside of Tumon. And so we're encouraging so many different businesses. If you have a mom and pop store or even an optional tour, that we're really wanting people to participate in Shop Guam. It's free. All you have to do is create an offer and work with GVB. And it's really at no cost to the small businesses out there. This is a great opportunity and platform. It gets translated into different languages. The app will be updated on November 10th when Shop Guam E-Festival launches officially. And so download the app. It's free. It's on Apple and Google Play. And it's going to be great. This year, just like last year, we're going to have some influencers coming in to help promote.
Yes, I want to meet them. Are we bringing back the pretty girl from the Philippines again?
Unfortunately, no, we didn't get.
Could you bring in any pretty girl from the Philippines?
I'll have to talk to marketing. But there'll definitely be some influencers at tomorrow's press conference. So I know that from off the top of my head, I know there's a couple from Japan, and then I think some from China, and I think another one from Korea too. Okay. So definitely like different source markets, and maybe we can see if we can get some of them on your show too.
Oh no pretty girls on the program. Get out of here with that. Who do you think I am? Yeah, call me after the show.
Yeah. But definitely a different take on Shop Guam. I think this year is more of the experiential call out for different businesses. So we're looking for I don't know if there's something.
Well, yeah, so the restaurants and the department stores and things like that. I mean, that's kind of a given. But maybe you're in a different form of business, or maybe a different kind of retail that might be that it's obviously this is GVB, so this is something that is going to be in the hands of the tourists. But the locals are going to want to do this as well. So if you want another touch point, if you want another venue to be able to reach out literally into the phones of consumers here on Guam, I would recommend that you learn as much as possible about this program. And see if you can get yourself enrolled.
Yeah, it is absolutely free. It's no cost to the business or anything. GVB has the platform already built, and the app's gonna be updated. All the business really needs to do is just create its own offer and download the app and work with GVB. There's two ways you can do that. You can call GVB at 646-5278, right, or you can email shopguam@visitguam.org, and Robbie and the rest of the Shop Guam team will be happy to help you generate your offer and get you in the app, and then just the campaign is going to last through February of next year, 2020. So you have a few months to get that offer going and get people and local residents and visitors into your business, and it's just a great way to promote Guam.
Absolutely. Hey, let's jump back into Tumon, because you know me, I'm high tech, but I also like high touch as well. And among the things that I enjoyed the most about the holiday season is the way all of the hotels and restaurants and everybody kind of dress themselves up down in Tumon, put up all the Christmas tree lights and things like that. Is GVB going to do another Santa's Village down there, or North Pole thing?
Yeah, that's in the works actually, and I need to get more details from my coworker Doris, who's heading that. So, but yeah, I just anticipate that there'll be another Christmas village in Tumon. I'm hoping I don't even know the date, but it usually happens right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got that lot right across from the Governor Joseph Flores Park, Epal Beach. You've got a lot over there, and then there's one just north, just south of.
The one across from Hyatt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, we used that one last year. So this year, I need to find out what the location will be, and then of course what are the dates. But I know that concepts have already been worked on, and then I think the team needs to pick the theme and execute it. So yeah, we're definitely preparing for all the great stuff that's happening for the holiday season. And this is my favorite time of the year, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. There's so much going to be going on, and it's hard to believe. I'm with you. It's weird because it seems to have crept up so quickly. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. It was summertime, and it wasn't that long ago that we were running marathons back in the spring. And here we are. It's November, and it's the 6th of November already, guys. And it's just it's a handful of days between here and Thanksgiving and Christmas and the New Year's. So I'm looking.
We have like 3 weeks or something till like Thanksgiving.
Well, and here's the thing: is everybody's busy right now, but we've got additional flights that are coming in, don't we? I mean, it's United and JAL have kicked up their inbound flights from Japan.
The winter season has definitely been so busy here. United has kicked up a lot of flights. Korea, Japan flights. There's so much happening this time of year, and of course, like we just finished a record-breaking fiscal year 2019. 1.63 million visitors came to Guam. It's just it's really amazing to see how the markets have recovered in a sense from a couple years ago to now, and I guess it's just really going to get better with really a lot of focus into the destination and improving the destination and just making Guam better in general.
Oh, keep it up. Keep up the good work, and tell the whiners to keep their nose in the grindstone, and Pilar's going to teach them how to become good workers. That's what we'll do.
I will say everyone here at GVB works extremely hard, and I've been here for over 5 years, and I've seen everyone work together, and I'm just looking forward to seeing that play out as we get through all the different events that are for the people of Guam and for our visitors.
Gotcha. Okay, it's starting to sound spinny, so I'm going to let you go.
Okay, Ray. Have a great day. Have a great day, everyone.
Promise I will. 9:46 in the morning. The amazing Josh Dakenko works over at the Guam back at the Guam Visitors Bureau. He was out, was doing some work over at PNC, and said, "No, I think maybe I'll go back." And look, if Pilar was that bad, Josh wouldn't have gone back. There's another way to look at it. You know, Josh is he's a hard worker. He's a worker bee guy, and if he can get along with the boss of the shop, I don't see why anybody else seems to be having some problems. Now, I say this, of course, knowing that I haven't read the entire letter. If you want to see it, you can go to GuamDailyPost.com. Somewhere on the website, they've got something like that. I was just looking over some of the other articles that had been in the media about Pilar, and I got to say, I'm sorry. You know, you got this town built on the backs of strong women, and if she is showing the strength that she's got at the Visitors Bureau, I say more power to her, actually. But it seems to me that around here we're not. There's a certain level that you can go before, I don't know, people start to complain, and in this, I'm not even talking about employees over at GVB complaining. In this case, there's a story. My friend Jerry Portito wrote this about Netflix film brought $250,000 in revenue to Guam. And that's one of the things about the film commission. Even without a functioning film commission here on Guam, they still managed to have a Netflix movie made here, and it still managed to bring in $250,000. The problem is it didn't bring $250,000 directly into the government of Guam coffers. It went through hotels and rent-a-cars and restaurants and suppliers and things like that, which is why they wanted to make a film commission here on Guam, so that there might be a mechanism by which we could, number one, encourage the industry, and then maybe find a way to tax it. Maybe there's that. Anyway, so they in her letter to the GVB president and CEO Pilar Lagutnia, the speaker also said the level of courtesy, respect, and professionalism extended to the Guam Visitors Bureau goes above and beyond the level of courtesy extended to any other stakeholder, and that was in response to Pilar saying from the GVB that they were neither given the respect nor courtesy of discussing the measure with the bill's author. And it's those kinds of statements. We were neither given the respect nor courtesy of a phone call, of a discussion, of a meetup on all of this. To which the response was, it's unfortunate that both you and Mr. Alvarez didn't see fit to attend. During this meeting, it was brought up that there had been a shortcoming by the government of Guam with regards to our role in a thriving film industry. I had brought up the fact that I'd introduced Bill 152 as a means to stimulate a new industry on Guam, one that creates jobs, brings in visitors, as well as provide a new way of generating revenue for our island. And then the upside of the upshot of that a couple of days later was that GVB was, I'm going to say, made to apologize. Guam Visitors Bureau, this is a story from KUM a couple of days ago, has issued a public apology to the speaker for both the tone and substance of our letter, which raised concerns on Bill 152. The letter also, in that letter, Pilar Lagutnia opposed the use of $1.5 million, etc. In a statement issued today, GVB noted that Barnes was the former tourism chairwoman and, quote, has the institutional knowledge, understanding, and passion to fight for what GVB needs to move forward.
Yeah, it's a noble thought, but it's not realistic, because if movie makers from the United States want to find a nice tropical island to film something on, they'll just go closer to home in the Caribbean. They're not going to fly all the way over here to do that, unless Guam is subject in the film.
And in the case of the Netflix thing, Guam was. I mean,
Exactly.
they're talking about the Air Force and the Christmas drop, which is something that we do here, but not necessarily over in the Caribbean. Right. So yeah, that one makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. I don't know. There have been films that were shot on Guam before, and there are a lot of people that will rail against a movie called Max Havoc. Max Havoc was I had a good time at Max Havoc. The name of the program, Gibson Show. So generally, if you're wondering how I'm going to react to something, it will always depend on whether I had a good time at it or not. And I enjoyed the idea that there was a movie being made on Guam. I enjoyed the idea that we had an actual director and producer that came out here, that there were stars on Guam. Carmen Electra, and some will say that was the most expensive date that ever happened here on Guam. Somebody in the government of Guam got to take her out to dinner.
She was at her peak at that time, so she was looking pretty good.
There was, yeah. So Carmen Electra's here on Guam. What was the line? It's amazing how short she is. But there's all kinds of other, but if you were just a member of the great unwashed public here on Guam, it was kind of a spectacle. It's the film version of them knocking down the hotel that fell over, that looked like it was going to fall over after the earthquake. It was that kind of a deal, and it captured everybody's imagination. And they had a couple of things, at the beach, as an example, over by where, right outside the outrigger, is where they were shooting a scene. And they had all these little kids out there in their cultural outfits, and they're playing the drums, and there was dancing, and it was singing, and there were DJs out there. I used to work with one or two of the DJs that were actually up there spinning records to keep the crowd entertained in between the shots. And and there were all kinds of people, because they just said, look, if you're not doing anything Saturday, come to the beach by the outrigger, because we're going to be shooting some film. And big signs up that said, we're shooting a movie around here. And if you look very carefully in one of those scenes, you might even see me walking around there with a camera, because I wanted to capture the essence of this, very exciting, for a lot of people, once-in-a-lifetime experience. And, when you talk to people that are in film and in the acting business, they'll tell you that Max Havoc was just garbage. It was a lousy movie, a lousy star, lousy script, all of this other stuff. And the answer at the time, I remember saying out loud, was, who cares? Get out of here with that snobbery. It's a movie that's being shot on Guam, and it's going to go straight to video. And it did. I don't know that it ever played in any of the screens.
Yeah, it got a rating of 3.6 out of 10.
Out of 10?
Yeah.
Well, it was a lousy movie, but it was just okay. I put that up against any of the Police Academy films.
I will tell you this, though, on IMDb, only 770 people even bothered to vote on it.
Nobody knew about it. We were running that program when the movie came out, because like I said, it was straight to video. If you've been in the MCV days, before it was Docomo, it was MCV. MCV was actually airing it, kind of an on-demand thing on their premium movie channel.
Which Max Havoc was it? There were two. It
Uh,
was Curse of the Dragon in 04 and Ring of Fire in 06.
I believe we are Curse of the Dragon. Okay. I believe we're but look over the names of the other shows. Look at the names of the other stars in that, because it wasn't just Carmen Electra. One of the Carradine brothers was in the movie. If you look at it,
yeah, you've got Mickey Hart, who I believe was the feature actor. You had David Carradine, Richard Roundtree, Joanna Krupa, and Carmen Electra, and that's just what I see right in front of me here.
So, there was a little bit of star power in there. I mean, B stars, B category stars, but still, I'm just saying, I'm just pointing it out. 9:54 in the morning. We need a movie like Midway that's coming out, kind of a war movie. Not bad. That's a good idea, Heidi. Or a movie about the first spy in Micronesia, which would be cool
about
as well.
Midway, though. Is it going to turn out to be another Pearl Harbor? I was really excited about Pearl Harbor, and it's not a terrible movie, but I didn't want so much lovey-dovey,
Oh, romance.
Yeah. See, I mean, and from what I understand, Midway is not like that.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I've only even seen just a preview of it, but
That's
it was
right,
a snippet, so I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I got my fingers. Look, I already went to the movies this year, didn't I? I went to go watch Zombieland. So I watched Zombieland. I watched Men in Black 2. I watched a couple other movies in the Philippines. But anyway, less on that in a second. Be right back.
Live the balanced lifestyle. Take Care Insurance offers proven wellness and fitness programs to encourage individuals and families to live a healthy, balanced lifestyle through preventative care, being active, eating right, relaxing and unwinding, and being socially connected. They have the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs for all ages. Join the movement. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram, or visit takecareasia.com to learn more.
Konnichiwa! We'll be celebrating the 40th Japan Autumn Festival on Saturday, November 16th from 2 until 9 at the Governor Joseph Flores Beach Park. That's Ipao Beach Park. Parking will be available across Oka Payless with free shuttle service every 15 minutes starting at 1:30. Advance tickets available now at the Japan Club of Guam office located on the first floor of Pia Marine during business hours. The Japan Autumn Festival at Ipao Beach Park, November 16th from 2 to 9. Come join us. For information, call 646-8066. This message made possible by Choice Broadcast.
Mescla Chamorro Fusion Bistro brings you island hospitality with a true taste of modern Chamorro cuisine. A bistro look that feels like home. Their menu features local and traditional flavors with a twist. From their famous Calaguan Hafa to fresh ahi poke salad and their award-winning barbecue ribs. Mescla takes your favorite local dishes and serves them with extra flair that you'll only find at Mescla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Stop by their newest location in the Grand Plaza Hotel in Tumon. For reservations, call 969-2652. Mescla, a true taste of Guam.
Is it that time already? November the 6th? Why not? I mentioned I got the Christmas tree is up at the house, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I mean, I said I would not play Christmas music until after Thanksgiving, and I won't, but I did this time. Just why not?
Because that's why. It's okay. So 9:57. That's a question that's being asked at radio stations all around the country. Because it used to be back in the conventional wisdom back in the old days was that Christmas music was, it drives listeners away, yada, yada, yada. So you waited until as long as possible. Conventional wisdom in 2019 is that people want Christmas music even earlier. Yeah. So there's no reason, and in some radio stations, some markets and stations, they're already switching formats. They've gone top 40 or rock and roll into full-blown Christmas mode. Noon Sunday is the other movie that you're thinking of. A guy named Gordon Mayo got together with some dudes over at Gita back in the day and convinced them to give him some money to make a feature presentation about Guam and on Guam. Kapalua was the name of the island, wasn't it? In Noon Sunday, Mark?
Yeah. I remember that movie. That was in the early 70s.
And I don't want to say Martin Landau's in it, but he didn't use his real name because I think he was ashamed of the movie. But it's fun, and there's a scene in there. There's a scene in there with frontal nudity. There's actual in the video version of it. There's susus in the movie. I'm just saying. So what did you want to talk about? We only got about a minute.
Oh no, I mean, you said you watched Zombieland, and Woody Harrelson is, I believe, portrays Chester Nimitz in the Midway movie.
Oh, did you watch him in The Highwaymen? It was a Netflix show, I want to say.
No, I haven't. That's on my list to watch.
It's a good show. It's a good yarn. Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson, and they play guys that are way older than them, and they pull it off. They absolutely carry it off, and it's a worthwhile yarn about these two guys that were tasked with catching Bonnie and Clyde. It's worth watching again, as a matter of fact.
Yep.
All right, buddy. Hey,
okay.
listen.
It'll be on the weekend.
All right. Well, you have a good weekend out there. I think maybe I'm going to run down to the Gutney area, maybe get some hot dog from your niece.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she was there a couple of days ago. She might be there today. Go get some more hot dogs. I'll talk to you pretty soon. Also, Evelyn, I'm told, I guess Shelley's a special dispatch from Big Sister Shelley that Evelyn is back at the hot dog place down in East Agania. So if you want to get some of that good stuff, then definitely go check it out. 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, we managed to do it. Killed another 4 hours today, and it's 4 hours of talk radio on Wednesday, which means there's only 8 more to go between here and the weekend. So how are we going to put all that together? Guess you'll just have to listen and find out. The radio station is KUSG Hagutnia, headquarters for Fox News Live. For Montesilva Tyron and Michael Knight, this is Ray Gibson saying, see you later. Love you. Mean it. Bye.
D3.
Heading to the